would you prefer Trump came over there and spoke, or someone else? Anybody in mind?
Well, I mean, technically, you shouldn't have the idea is that in a perfect world, shouldn't Canada have its own political identity and do its own
Yeah.
thing?
I got that. But would you prefer
Canada
Trump
has its
came
own
rather than
nothing
Biden?
identity.
Would you prefer
Like,
Trump?
it doesn't
Would
have the
I would
founding
prefer it, yeah, but I
history.
don't think it should happen in any
Why would
case.
you prefer Trump rather than Biden? You said they're both
Because
Because they
people.
have
Trump
Castro's son
ideologically
at the
aligns
moment.
with my own bias, Joe.
Very good. That's where I was going. Their
Yeah.
shit ideology, the right wing, aligns more with your own shit.
Yeah.
And doesn't that controvert what you said earlier about both wings are evil? But you choose
No,
one?
no.
No,
Here-
both
well, what
wings are the same bird in the same direction. There's a difference in evil.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
won't
you wouldn't characterize the bird as evil. Okay.
no,
This
you
is-
characterize the
Yes,
bird
I
as evil.
said you would not. This is interesting. 'Cause
Well,
to me,
evil in that context is relative to who's calling it that. Some people don't think it's evil to take my bang bangs away, but that is an evil thing. It's my
And-
property. It's my
It's
way
just
of
that-
defending myself.
Yeah.
yeah, well,
I mean, we all have a political bias. I mean, we all have to try and rationalize and make sense of the world we're living in. Joe.
yes, but I wouldn't say I have a political bias, right?
Well, sometimes you have other biases because
No,
you're an
we're talking
individual
about
that knows what you know, just like us.
Yes, but I'm talking about political. I don't see the wisdom. What is his name? Brand, whatever, something Brand, who has his own show.
Oh, Russell Brand.
Russell Brand. Did you not see him tearing to some guy from, I think it was a guy from Fox, or no, it was a guy from CNN, I think. And he had told them, he was like, surely you understand that you cannot call out one side without calling out the other. You will not change one life pulling that. This is what people do when they say your side aligns with mine. You spend all day calling out the side that doesn't align with your people.
Except
And
when it
that's the
comes
plan.
like here's my question. I'm like this guy talking to Jesus Christ going, what is truth? Looking Jesus square in the eye and go, what the hell is truth? You're looking at the truth. I am the way, the truth, and life. So I'm more like that. I just want to give me some truth. John Lennon sang it. All I want is some truth.
Tell me, were you trying to say something?
Yeah, I got wrapped up in the whatever these hoes are talking about. I was actually watching a more Tony Hawk chat scrolling through there. I just don't get the Tony. I mean, he does. He's got Tony Hawk vibes. Yeah. And I'm like, is this every episode? Does this Tony Hawk stuff just stream through there like this? No, I was saying this whole battle between left and right dichotomy is so you don't figure out that we're all pretty much a one world government as it is.
I'm going to go out here on a limb and say you identify more with the Republican Party. And I don't really think I'm that far out on a limb. Would you agree?
Are you asking me, Joe?
I'm asking Tommy. Both of you do. But I was asking Tommy.
I align with freedom and
I didn't ask you about
party.
Freedom. Thank you. That's okay. Go ahead.
Right. You asked me what the answer was that you want to hear from me. I'm saying between the left and the right, the right is most closely related to freedom, so I will look like I'm right.
I jive with the MAGA wing. I jive with the MAGA wing of the Republican Party.
Excuse me a second. I wanted to make sure that I was clear on his response. I asked you, do you identify with the right more? And I think the answer is yes.
I think I identify with both parties. Because you didn't know me on Facebook. And on Facebook, everybody called me a raging leftist.
Why are you dancing right now then?
I'm not dancing. You're denying me my answer that you're asking me
because I want
you're being a tyrant.
What time the train arrives and you want to say Venus. You're not answering my question.
Irrelevant context.
A question.
You're asking me a question because you want an answer.
That's why people ask questions, knucklehead.
Right, but you don't want my answer. You want your answer, which is I'm a white power racist with Nazi tendencies.
That's in your head. That's why you're so afraid to answer the question. Thanks for showing
I'm not
me
afraid to answer it.
Which side do you identify with more right now, not 10 years ago when you're on Facebook?
I identify with me. And you know
see
me.
him talking dogs. This is clear.
Oh, so you're demanding I go to a dichotomy and identify as one of those. That's how they got you, Joe.
You're afraid you got to slam me right now. That's what you're preparing to do.
Where's Joe?
I'm sorry. I had to get a call.
Well, listen, man, we've been through this conversation before. If you're telling me I have to pick left or right, I would be a voter. I've never voted a day in my life. I just relate with each side when they talk about freedom on either side. I relate with that. Are you trans? Freedom. Do you want to make a beeline to taking parental rights away? Now I'm leaning right.
You might as well run for one of those political offices, because that's what they do. When they ask you, where do you come down on guns? Will you take a nigga M22? They say, I'm about freedom and loyalty. I'm a true American. They can never answer a direct question, which is what you're doing.
All for an N-word having guns. I'm all for everybody
I didn't care
having
about guns, really. I cared about you being your inability to say that I lean more with one or the other.
Maybe you need to ask better questions.
Questions that are more comfortable for you? Yeah, I'm all right.
No, questions that narrow down what you're really trying to get.
There is no narrowing you down. I shouldn't have to wrestle a grown man. You understand what I'm saying?
So why are you making it a wrestle when I can answer your question if you stop telling me I'm not?
You can give me an answer to a question, but not mine.
We all watch Elon Musk choose his words with caution. He thinks and then he answers. And when I do that to you, you say he's scared to answer the question.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I know
You're
how
too much like
Elon
Musk. You're a genius. That's how we fucked up. That was my fault. I compared you to a genius too much. That's what it is. Fuck out of here.
So you acknowledge that Elon Musk?
No, I don't acknowledge no dumb shit that you're talking about. You're dancing. You're dancing.
No.
All right.
Listen,
I'll go out on
white guys can't dance, Joe.
All right. I like
we
that.
We can't dance.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you've proven in fucking the past conversation, this conversation, that your ideology is more aligned with the right than the left. I don't think you'd agree. And I think, Rachel, you would agree that yours align more.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, wow. We didn't have to wrestle for 20 minutes. You didn't tell me about your Facebook page from 20 years ago.
Joe, where's your home state? Where's your home state?
I'm in Chicago, Illinois.
Chicago, Illinois. Oh,
yeah,
man.
We got no rights here. And I'm in the ghetto, right? Where you see all the murders.
Chicago is so interesting. So what's your take on the great city, Chicago, gateway to the West? Holy smokes. It's a metropolis, Superman's metropolis, based on Chicago.
It is. That's right.
It
Batman,
needs Superman for sure.
Batman's filmed there. The modern Batman's filmed downtown.
Yeah. But Gotham, of course, Batman's New York, right?
Batman
that's so cool.
Gotham. What was it? I'm losing my.
Sounded like something in the green room shattered.
I was curious where you're from, where in the Union you are, you know.
Yes,
I think it's fantastic.
So Henry, whatever she's been looking at seems to have had some technical issues just now.
Okay. Yeah, I heard a loud noise in the background. I wasn't sure if something.
The whole time she was looking off, she was probably thinking, they're going to break that. They're going to drop that shit and break it. And it just happened.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out a lot of these different ideologies because I do want to be able to change something. I do meet a lot of people. And,
how about this, Talcott? Let me challenge you with this. Maybe you're not here to change anything. Maybe you're here to do Joe Cool the right way.
That's how I
worry about what's changed and what's not.
That's my main way of change. You got to lead through example, which is why I'm patient with motherfuckers and blah, blah, blah.
Okay, I'm here to be Illuminati the right way.
There's a little more. There's a little more to that. However, I think my edict under God is to help someone else. That's the whole reason I'm down here, not to help Joe. My whole reason is to help someone other than myself. So
I help people all the time, but not whenever I was in my lowest needing help. You have to cover yourself, and then you can help all the people you want.
That's a given. Shit, I'm 55 years old. I can help other motherfuckers by now. I'm good.
Okay.
Most motherfuckers, though, Tommy, I think that's a cop-out. There are times, and it's true, that's just why people say it, that you got to help yourself. Sometimes you're damn near worthless to others. Like if you haven't learned a thing, you got to try to teach other people about it. You got to help yourself first.
It's more like,
but mostly when people say that, it's just because they're angry, upset, or emotional, and don't want to be around a person, or they want you to support them in that philosophy of cut niggas off. When you don't like what they do, don't say what they say. When you know that, when you hear them say, I don't see how you hang around with people like that. He lied to you twice. I don't see how you fuck with people like that, because they don't. They trying to get you to do it. That's why most people say you got to take care of yourself first. They don't
No,
want
you
you
have
helping.
we say you have to take care of yourself first because we have a mutual friend that was trying to save the world as he was losing his house and his family.
Yeah.
So does that not sum it up compared to what you're saying?
I would disagree with the assessment. I think that even a guy who's losing his house and his family and all of that shit, can and probably will still find time to help somebody else.
He only seems like he's better off right now because that thing happened and he is required to receive monetary like granting of
even before
the
he
loss
got
of that thing.
even before he got that bread, to me he was a helpful
Okay,
cat.
so when you've questioned his logic and
Yeah.
his motives,
Yeah.
does he not seem like he should get that in order before claiming to be on that quest?
I'm
'Cause
okay with
you've kind of been telling him in different words that
I
before
jump
he
on him.
can save the world,
Yeah.
he needs to help himself.
I jump on him. My shit is before he can save the world, he needs a plan. I'm okay with where he is as a person. He's helped himself. The nigga got a car. He can travel places. I saw him go to a hotel bar or
Well,
something. So
in
he
all
can.
fairness, he's not a nigga and he's not completely out of the woods because I have that man's phone number.
Oh, in all fairness, what's a nigga?
Well, that's what I'm asking you because I'm not
No.
supposed to be saying it.
Oh, well, you just did. You said he's not a nigga. What is a nigga? Don't you? If you're gonna make that
I don't know
statement.
because I just
Oh,
know
well,
that's a
then
word
stop
I
talking
don't
about
like to
shit you
hear
don't
either.
know about. You don't know he's not a nigga, and you don't even know what it is. It could mean a
Oh, well,
fucking.
I know you're talking about a Caucasian when you say nigga in that context.
See, again, you don't know what nigga mean, right? White
I don't
niggas can
think
be
it's about
niggas.
race. I
Yeah,
don't think it's a
right.
race question.
White
But
niggas can be
white people,
niggas.
okay, see, Joe, now you're on a slippery slope because I've only seen white people that try and play that, well, there can be white niggas and black niggas. And I agree, but some of the black population won't agree to that.
Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I don't know what they got to do with mine necessarily.
Now,
Well,
some of
I'm
the white
entitled to my
population
opinion, and
won't
I
agree
live
with
in a
it.
place where my opinion will get me shot.
Yeah. Move over here. White people say it all the time. Hispanics, Mexican, you can say what the fuck you want over here. White motherfucker be like, man, that Joe, that nigga crazy. Nigga like me, Joe, I wouldn't put up with that shit. White people can say it freely around my house anyway. They go to a
Well,
different neighborhood, maybe different.
That's part
exactly.
of the respect variable. Like you can use the word. I don't use it because it's in our culture. It's frowned upon. So I can go with
Who was our?
majority of the people. I'm not
Who
going
is
to use
our
it.
culture? In my culture, it's a real thing.
No,
It's
I'm
just
talking about
all right.
my generally white culture. Although
Yes,
I'm
yeah,
quarter Native American, right?
right on.
Like I'm Cree and Shoshone and Dene.
Isn't that the issue? In my culture, it means one thing. In your culture, it means another.
Yeah.
And that's why there's no such thing as race. It's all
Well, I mean,
culture.
I guess the deal would be like I don't want to bug nobody and I don't want to be bugged. That sort of thing. I extend that to the other individual out of a case or out of an attitude of respect.
Well, I
I
try
could
not
be,
to.
I could be an asshole,
Yeah,
but what good would that do?
yeah.
How would we further
Well,
ourselves if that's
this
all?
is
Well,
this is why I appreciate that the overlord media is trying to attach the black community to the alphabet community because there's a difference there. The black community says, don't say this, and they say it more than Smurf say Smurf. The alphabet community says, don't call us F word, bundle of sticks, or transmission words, and they don't call each other those words.
Tommy, you have a
Dichotomy.
Tommy,
I
you
just
have a
like,
way of putting things sometimes.
obviously, like, I mean, my orientation in life is because I adhere to my own, understanding what a Christian would be, somebody in relationship with Jesus Christ, because that's where I come from, because that's part of my machinery, because of my bias
yeah.
and how I orientate towards my world. I don't want to be judging anybody,
But
and
listen,
shitting on
listen.
anybody.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're Muslim, Christian, or an atheist. We all know the word hypocrisy.
Okay.
A transmission person that doesn't call other people transmissions and would request you not to call them a transmission, that's not hypocrisy. A group of street cultured people that use the word fluently they don't want to hear from Caucasians, that's hypocrisy. Sorry, not sorry.
Before, I'd like to address that in a second, but I wanted to try to hold on this thought. Rachel said you can be an asshole, so you don't say certain things, blah blah blah, because you want to be nice, and everybody does. But I would say let's not forget the bigger thing there is that just because you're talking about something that may be uncomfortable to a person doesn't make you an ass. That makes you brave. This is how you learn.
Hey,
right?
don't use brave around me. You know that's loaded for Indians.
Stunning and brave. Stunning and brave on this panel.
You must be willing to offend a person. And if you're going to learn something, if we're going to bat ideas back and forth, you risk offending me, and I must risk offending you.
I don't mind offense if it's done out of integrity and done out of the kindness of a heart, because you're maybe like, say, I'm going to offend you. Oh, geez, I care about you, Joe. Oh, I really wish you wouldn't smoke. Now, I'm not even going to go there because, it's none of my business. But that would be a good example of where I would have the best intentions laden the road to hell, because I'm trying to help you out, but I'm beholding the mote I'm looking at the mote in your eye and missing the beam in my own.
And Tommy, I think your contention was that black people don't want white people saying the word. And
that's the whole mythos of it.
Yeah.
But I appreciate what you just said to her, because you just released me to do that comedy you said you were questionable.
Oh, you're a grown man. Don't give me credit for any of your decisions.
You just said I have to risk it, and I agree. I just want to hear it from my friends I meet that I display that cloud.
Yes, I would take it a bit further. If you're doing comedy, your risk is 10 times greater. The best comedian, there is a line that he must dance. He can't learn to dance the line unless he crosses the line. So your burden, if it's to be a comedian, is 10 times greater. But I would disagree that your argument necessarily is sound, because you're saying black people like that's some unity group of motherfuckers, and we all don't want white people saying it. I'm black. I told you I don't have a problem with it. My people around here don't have a problem with it. We're black.
And you know that others
no matter how you look at it.
And you know me, Joe, I've always narrowed everything down to the individual. And the reason I take an issue with this is, like you're saying, there's places I've been comfortable in the community, and if I move to another part of Denver alone, I'll be in a new risk of doing the same thing.
For that matter, bitch is a trigger word around here, because the gangs that are around here, you're not
in prison. It's
prison. Yes, you can't do that shit. In other places, you can sue it. I go to other towns and shit, and men will use that word. I don't do it's offensive. You can't use it like y'all think y'all can do with my word. Oh, do you know what that word means? What are you doing? It's offensive. Just don't offend me and stop saying that word. I don't do that. But people think they can do it to me. Why?
Well, here's what you reminded me of the way I kind of see it around here. There's a lot of people I've seen where they might not even read into the whole mythos of who can say an N-bomb. Yeah. But a lot of people lean into the idea that, hey, if you hear a white guy say that, you get a free pass to assault him.
A lot of people do. My friends know. We go to different neighborhoods. They know. You don't do that shit. They don't do it around older black folks, because they'll call them out on it. They're like, oh, you can't say that word. That's sheep like everybody else. Yep. But us, we be like, oh, that's white boy Jay. What's up, nigga? What's up, niggas? It never even comes to my head that he said a word, a blah, blah. I go months until I fucking come on YouTube or see somebody else that I even recognize that he said a word that people think is offensive.
And so now you see this rights and freedoms of the individual fight that the community of. It's all about, hey, man, why do I have to change up just because I travel past an invisible line of new people? Why can we not all be on the same page of freedom?
Yes, I would absolutely agree, right? I not only that freedom shit, I don't tolerate a motherfucker because he's gay. I don't tolerate a motherfucker because he listens to so and so music. Actually, I hate country music, so I might be tolerating that shit. But normally, I embrace every difference about every motherfucker, man. I love it, man. And I love them. I got more fucking trans and gay friends than any straight motherfucker should have.
But
And I
well,
love them endlessly.
there's an aspect to it where you have the right to not prefer, though, and just don't assault them. Like, you don't have to like trans people. White people don't have to like a melanin skinned person,
I'm
but you
with you on that.
still grant them the
I love it.
society rule.
I love it. I'm okay with that shit. I totally understand that shit. You're right. If a motherfucker, like them southern motherfuckers, a lot of them, they have ways. I got a white buddy. I can't remember who told me this, but he was like, Joe, ain't no word for black people around here. It's nigger. There's never a separate word. Whenever we speak of black people, that is the word we use. So those people, if those are their beliefs and all that, as long as they don't hurt no one, great. When those cats get together and say, you know what, we're going to make a law, keep the darkies out of here till sundown or whatever, now we got a fucking issue.
Now we got a problem.
Yeah.
And I also point out that, like, okay, colored bad, people of colored okay. Like,
people
I
of color are you and me. We're all that we can intermarry. We can make babies together. We're the same humans.
We are
Yes,
literally
we're all
the same.
people, but
I
all you're
agree.
doing is reversing the words and saying one is like aboriginals, aborigines. We're gonna find a fence in a syllable.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
Richie's
people are
right,
colored and colored
cultural. It's
people.
the aspect of culture that comes into play here.
Yeah,
I think you're absolutely right.
The Supreme Court decided that vulgarity is determined from the society and culture which it emerges, meaning we are not qualified to talk about whether this word, we'll say the nigger word, is offensive or not.
Is somebody that's on their chat listening to us? Because I'm not saying it's all about me, but that chat just went over up that said, like, stop offending people, Tommy.
Oh,
Randy.
Is anyone on that panel named Tommy?
Oh, I
So
got it.
Randy, we're not the same, but you're self-identified. You're African American heritage, right? You're a black guy. Am I hearing you right? How are you different? You got 2 mouths. You got 5 noses. You got antennae.
So, Rachel, we recently did an interview with a guy who runs a YouTube channel called RBR Network.
Okay.
And
Joe knows I've never said the N-word more than when I was on that program.
Chief George, I absolutely get
it.
discriminated in the black community for being light skinned. I've had all my life and that type of shit. It's a battle, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
they did. Like Saturday Night Live had an old skit about that.
I went to Joe after RBR to make sure that, like, society is still cool, because I like RBR. I'll go chill with them. But when you go there, they will tell you things that you're like, if you believe that, how can we ever have equality? How can we ever get along if that's what you believe?
I got friends.
African American so Randy, who made the black people? Where do black people come from? Where do white people come from? They come from the same place, buddy.
So the guy who runs this YouTube channel, RBR Network, he has some very spicy ideas about how different races are either inferior or superior to each other.
Okay.
Muy caliente ideas.
Muy
caliente.
This is the whole idea of eugenics, right? I mean, this is fucked up stuff.
Yes. People are the black people, God's people, or somebody, regular people were black, and then someone went over to the island of Mythos, I think it was, and created this inferior race called white people. That's one belief I've heard black friends of mine say. I've heard them say that they're descendants of, I think it was Shem, whichever one had red hair, and they are cursed, so they can never make it into heaven. I got friends that believe white motherfuckers cannot go into heaven. I also got friends that believe if you're not a Christian, you can't go into heaven. I got friends that believe if you're not their pastor,
as a black man, you can go get yourself a white wife and you'll have a beautiful mixed child. The real ones I love, because this hits racists right in the face, is when you get a black and white couple, right? The guy can be the black person or the wife can be the black. It doesn't matter. They have one kid that's going to be white skin. They have one kid that's going to be black skin. And I just think that's fantastic because that's our common humanity. And if you're sitting there worried about our hair and skin and personality, bodies are different.
I think Rachel.
Let me throw in on you,
hold on,
Joe.
hold on.
Let me throw in with Joe on this
Chief. Hold on. I think Chief. You provided the evidence against yourself. Black people can create all races through our recessive genes. Blue eyes, green eyes, all of that can come from a black man. So that would mean that by definition, a black man created that creature. That creature is still a black man, just displaying recessive genes. It sounds like that's where the logic goes.
Well,
that's not logic, though. That's science that we can define. But what I wanted to bring up that you were touching on, Joe.
What I'm trying to say is that the races can intermarry and we can procreate as humans, right?
Right, but we're in context of what RBR is doing over there. And like when Joe talks about his friend, who I also have friends that believe if you're not Christian, you don't go to heaven. They still believe that we can all decide to be Christian. Problem solved technically. This place is telling me, even as a friend of their show, that because I'm Caucasian, my DNA is instilled with Nazi logic and intentions, and I cannot get rid of that. That's where it gets muy caliente.
I have a visceral negative reaction.
But I'm using that show as a way to go there and not. I'm trying to go over there and cohabitate to see what it takes to do that. The host likes me, but you won't convince him I don't have Nazi in my DNA.
Leave crude up there. It's funny that there is no color mentioned in the Bible or Quran for that matter. I don't know if that's true. King Solomon, I think that was him that said, "I'm so dark that people make fun of me." And I am black, but I am comely. He was talking about I am dark as fuck, but I'm still beautiful. I think those are both his and from the Bible.
And it's irrelevant because I live in Denver. I've lived in the ghettos. I know black people in the ghettos. I worked at Denver Airport. We have Filipinos, various African countries working there. Not the same people because it's culture.
Yeah.
It's like American culture created this idea of black. And it doesn't go on in other countries the same until media and pop culture.
Yes, that's why we need. So you agree that we need critical race theory in the classroom, Tommy?
No, I think we need to tough love everybody out of this. Like the mainstream media intends us to be triggered over race and alphabets, and we need to rise above it, understand almost in a Fight Club nihilist sense that you're still equal living, dancing, fleshy organs, sacks of organs.
What is the truth? I just want to know what the reality is.
Exactly. So we need to teach it in classes,
equality
right?
in the buildup? Equality is better found in the trenches of like basic training. You are all equally crap. That's easier than you're all ascending as perfect angels together. Because you won't agree on that. You can agree we're all crap.
I'm not sure that has anything to do with critical race theory. You said that here in America, something about over here race. I forget. I don't want to characterize what you said, but it's true.
Culture. What we're calling race is culture.
Yes. So what we need to do is explain to motherfuckers in the classroom that this is a culture thing, and this is why all these shits are happening. And now that they know, we can kill that shit and come together. Isn't that logical?
Yeah. Whenever you said critical race theory, I thought you meant that was the strategy, and I'm like, no, I don't like critical race theory at all.
Randy, what do you do? What do you do with the black guy coming out of fucking London, England? Hello, my name's Jimmy. I'm Jimmy Black. I'm fucking me people from fucking Africa. We fought our way out of there, you bastard. And now we're fucking here. We're black. We're fucking English. We're proud of it. And you're going.
You got the potential for a mean Ozzy Osbourne, lady. You could bust a mean Ozzy Osbourne. I see that.
Well, there you go.
Hey, Tommy,
Lauren, how you doing, Mazzy? I love you.
Tommy, what is critical race theory the way you see it?
That they're teaching that it is very streamlined, almost in an RBR sense, that because you are white or black, this is, and it's just not the case.
So that's what you think that critical race theory is? It speaks of divisive.
Well, I am. I'm not gonna do a whole show about it or bust out a book, but
here we go, dance and dodge. I just smell it coming.
See, I just gave you a generalized answer. You're not happy with that.
I'm
if
okay
I
with
start
your
reading
answer
into
so
it, I'll
far.
take over the whole show to try and get all the details.
I'm with your answer so far, but what you just said there makes me think that you're about to dance.
No, how about we do it like this? You tell me what critical race theory is.
Yes, the way racism is pervasive and it invades every aspect of society.
Yeah, and that's not true.
Wait, which part is not true? Racism.
That racism invades every aspect of society. It's not true. I see how it appears true to those who would like to claim they suffer from it, but those people will also, in another context, tell you how they're doing the best. We out here, ballin', save it. I don't care. I really, there's too many black people getting theirs legally in this game to say that racism is holding everyone back.
I didn't say that it's holding everyone back. That was your characterization.
This is what it escalates to as far as population.
Let me finish talking.
This is a population context we're talking about. Or just
cut me off. That was your mischaracterization. I am saying
just like you're doing when you tell me what I'm saying. You say, you're saying this. No, Joe, I'm not.
I am saying it isn't pervasive in every part of society.
Well, you said that's what critical race theory is trying to tell us, and I'm telling you that's not true.
All right, good. Let's start there then. Is racism in the police?
I just want to make sure with the host we're not just drowning out this viewing thing. I want to try and comply to an extent.
No. Let's enjoying the conversation, guys.
Is racism in the police?
According to the individuals, yes. But every individual is responsible for where racism is.
Give me your opinion. Is there racism in the police? I told you
I'm not giving you an opinion. I'm giving you a fact. I'm saying an individual is racist, and where that person works probably brings racism with them.
I'm sorry.
Will it stop
Rachel,
you from achieving what you want in life?
Question.
No.
No, I didn't ask nothing about achieving race. Did he answer my question? Did he say it is or isn't in the police?
I'm trying to sum up the whole debate without a lot of questions. Tell me how
like you to answer my question first. Can you
tell me how racism is negatively keeping anyone from what they want to do?
What is he saying? Is he saying there is racism in the police or not?
I'm saying there's racism all around the world. The militant racism is in countries that are at war right now, and it's not holding anyone back from living their dreams.
I'm not talking about holding back. You want to talk about that.
Then I'm not worried about it. The only reason I could worry about racism is if it's detrimental to someone's life.
I didn't say you were worried about it, right, Tommy?
Then why are you worried about racism being anywhere if it doesn't hold anyone back?
I just asked you, was it in society?
And I'm asking you, if you say it's not holding anyone back, what is the debate about on news and shows and us right now? What are we even talking about?
So I think your answer is, I don't want to talk about it.
I need to see damages. Just like Martin Shkreli's case, I don't see the damages that aren't someone's responsibility as an individual.
Market. I'll get another 5-minute dance. Is there racism?
Yeah, there was a time in America that you could be red listed as an African American and not be given
I didn't say any of that crazy shit. Right now,
but it's
is there racism in the housing in America?
No, there's a catastrophe in the housing in America. Don't do your Joe Cool laugh.
This is great.
It's very nobody likes it. You're not getting respect with the Joe Cool laugh.
Is there racism in banking?
No, and you're about to be your own bank. When we go cashless, you will be your own bank.
We can answer some of your questions. You've answered mine.
Okay. With the exception of the past era of red listing over mortgage payments, where do you see racism in banking, and how is it detrimental to non-whites?
Okay, statistically, blacks have a lower percent chance of getting a loan, and it goes everywhere else.
Why do they have less chance of getting a loan? Do they monitor their credit score, or do they toy with their credit score?
Where it affects my life is one of my ex-girlfriends. Her and her mother's did. I think this was on 60 Minutes.
But you do not speak for the community.
Can I just answer the question without you cutting me off?
No, I'm not asking about your life. I'm saying in the grounds that we all need to come together as a people and work
directly.
This out.
You did ask me about me directly. How does it affect me directly?
No, I said, how does it affect the black community? How does racism in banking affect non-whites, not you specifically? because I can't.
I'll give you all non-whites then. My same story. My exes, her and her mother, they did a 60-minute thing. They were hired to go into housing and banking, which is why I brought those up. New cars and stuff like that. They were given a fictional background, same credit score, same everything, just different. And when the white people went to the car place, they were allowed to test drive the car, blah, blah. Black people, no, we don't do that. It's our policy. When the black people went to buy these nice houses, they said no, or they charged them much
You've
more.
been watching BS. You've been watching.
No. I know the person who did it personally, and I saw the episode of 60 Minutes. I'm not just making
and
shit up.
live in a major metropolitan area where any black person could go test drive a car. It's not an issue.
So my story, I'm lying? What do you mean?
I'm saying the thing you watched it sounds awfully loaded to me because
you said I'm lying.
I've had black car salesmen be conning me out of the price of a car.
You know what?
Much less say black people can't test drive it.
Yes. So you're telling me because there are exceptions, this thing cannot be true.
No, I'm saying you're speaking about the exception. I'm saying your show and your TV thing is the exception.
Blacks are rich. It seems like it's your philosophy here.
No, see, we already covered that. I don't need this telling me what I'm saying. I'm trying to get you to hear. Like, why do you not understand?
Because you dance on purpose. You try to fucking
what you're calling dancing is not. See, this is the real racism, Joe.
Yes,
there's a lot of white people in this country that are going to say, yes, Joe Cool, you right, because we don't want to step on toes. You right, Joe Cool. I'm not saying that. The community that you and I are part of when we're not on this show right now, every time you leave, they say that dude has no clue what's going on.
I'm okay with that, bro.
But are you okay with it being true?
Which part? You'd have to give me an example, because
yeah, man, we can't convince you that there's not as much racism as you're demanding.
You don't know how much I'm demanding. You have in your mind that I think that all this crazy shit. I do not. I'm very fucking logical. I only
have the interactions we have, which is this, man. You can't accept an answer I'm giving you. You say that's not.
You're telling me there's no racism in the police. No, I can't accept that answer.
No, I didn't say. I said there is.
When the show is over,
listen, Joe, let me have my turn. How are you understanding me?
If we can do this back and forth, but don't
you're
the illusion
triggered. Listen,
that you let me finish a sentence. Let's not have that illusion.
You're telling me I said something I didn't say. I said there's racism everywhere. I say you don't have nothing to worry about if you're doing what you need to do in the general sense of what you want to accomplish.
So there is racism in the police. What's the answer to my question 30 minutes ago?
Joe, I want you to try really hard right now.
No, you don't want to answer, Nickel. Look at you, and then you're gonna sit up.
You just called me a nigga.
Guy. You're gonna. Yes, I said nigga. Yeah. What is your point?
Because whenever we're over there, whenever we're on Paul's channel, I'm trying to say black people call me nigga all the time, and he's got a problem with it. You got a problem with it.
Well, now we're two different people, bro. I can't tell you.
Right, and we only have to worry about hypocrisy, technically. Well, it doesn't matter if you're black. It doesn't matter if I'm white. But are you being a hypocrite?
But I am not Paul. I can't account for what Paul thinks if you're holding me accountable to that.
No, you can't hold you accountable for you right now. I
don't have a problem with it.
I'm saying come to Denver and let's go see if you can test drive some cars, and you can put that on your channel. Me and you together, let's go test drive some cars you drive. Challenge accepted, right?
I don't know. First of all, I got one debit card. I've never even worked a fucking job since the 80s. Right? I sold drugs.
That sounds like you could easily be stereotyped as a black guy with no debit card and never worked a job.
Right. That's why scientists do studies where they put people in and give them the same credit scores and stuff, so they could prove this shit is true and they don't have to go off a crazy one person.
If you want to talk about our personal experiences, I was homeless on the streets of Denver,
I don't want to talk about them, but you go ahead.
I am. I was homeless on the streets of Denver, doing meth, living in a shit RV. Yeah. I cleaned my credit up. I got into the stock market where no one knows your race or your gender. Yeah. And you see me where I talk about my economic status.
Good.
And any person could do what I did. Any alphabet, any race.
I would agree.
Yourself.
Why do you assume I disagree with that? Right?
Because you're sitting here disagreeing. Because that logic I just told you,
see how you
don't realize I'm debunking. You don't realize that logic you agree with is what debunks all your racial debates.
You see how you cut me off after one sentence? You will never know
No,
what
I'm
point,
trying to tell you
like
the
you just
resolution
did
to our
there.
debate, and you're still talking.
Yes, because I don't think you're God, and you have the fucking resolution to our
I'm not
debate.
God, and you are me. You're just
So
like
that's
me,
why
and
I'm
you can
still
do what I
talking. I
did.
still have an opinion. I don't have to defer to fucking Tommies. What is your point?
Yeah, your opinion can be wrong.
As can yours. I recognize that. I don't
But
have a
I'm the
problem with that.
living proof it's right, because I have black friends that are me, and you
That-
are too. You're just choosing not to.
I have
You
black
can
friends.
choose to do a different way than I did, that your
No.
race will not hold you back, because there
Listen.
is no race.
All right, if I could get a word in here, it's just to debate one thing you said. I have black friends that are racist. I have black friends that are not. I cannot, from my experience, determine that all blacks are like this or all. All I can go by are statistics, and statistics
No,
tell
that's
me.
how you're wrong
Excuse
too.
me.
Statistics
and
are wrong.
Let him finish,
statistics-
Tommy. Tommy,
Thank
let
you.
him finish.
Statistics tell me that blacks get pulled over more. They get more time for the same crime. When the stop and frisk happened, 90-something% of the people were non-whites. Statistics say this. I have facts. What are you talking about?
May I?
Yeah.
Okay. All those statistics from what you're talking about to bang bang statistics are all modified according to the political agenda that's pushing them. Do you know why they raised the age of minors in certain aspects of the law to be 19 now? So they can have higher bang bang fatality rates to minors when we call 19-year-olds who are in Chicago living like adults with bang bangs, which aren't acting like adults. They can chalk those up to kids, even though they're banging on the streets. That's why statistics are bullshit.
So if I could surmise what you're saying or make
Your
sure we
stop and
understand.
frisk
Excuse
statistics.
me.
I wasn't done my turn, though.
I thought you were. I'm sorry.
Okay, now your stop and frisk statistics. I'm known on RBR for saying, oh, I've never had the black experience, but I'm very fluent in the stop and frisk experience because I used to be a little punk street skater and I still kind of stylize in that direction. And RBR said, so whenever you were getting stop and frisk, did you change up your attire? I said, no, RBR. Do you know why? Because I've never had anything on me when I was stop and frisk. So when you say black people are getting stop and frisk the most, arrested the most, it's because we also say they're the smaller demographic taking over the largest percentage. And there's significance to that. It's not because you're getting looked at more. It's because it's being done more by a culture that's influenced by money cash hose backbeats.
I'm not sure I understood all of that. I'll be honest with you.
That's because it's cognitive dissonance of what you're hearing.
It's because it was a lot to hold on to. You went on for a long time. It is.
It's heavy for you.
No,
because in the past, it's why I was called racist to say this stuff. And now this woke era is kind of having to own up to some of it in order to properly woke.
All right. So if I could go. I just still want to surmise what you said in the first part. I'm still trying to hold on to that. The statistics you're saying that when I come up with these statistics, you're not saying that they could be wrong. You're saying that they are wrong, right? I mean, if you got a statistic like I looked up the suburbs around me, Black City, where 5-10% Black people live, they still get 90 and 95% of the tickets. Either they drive horribly to me or they're being targeted. You would tell me what, when you have such overwhelming statistics, you would tell me that shows nothing, even if the statistics are off, and I do believe they are skewed for political agenda and all of that, I would still say they point in a clear and obvious direction.
The thing is, when we put context on it, yes, that obvious direction could be community effing up. Community doesn't respect themselves. Community acting out, acting the fool. And there's lots of things that screw up statistics, Joe. Like do you know what screws up a lot of bang bang statistics? It's that successful self-defense with a bang bang doesn't always include calling the cops and reporting it. So it never goes on a statistic. But there's a lot of good guy stuff that happens no one hears about because it was successful.
And what about blacks getting more time for the same crimes than white people? What about that?
that would come down to the individual case, because sometimes it might be repeat offenders. Sometimes it might be acting out in court when no reason to act out in court. Sometimes it could be because they weren't properly parented.
All right,
and that's with white people too.
Let's assume that in this statistic,
assumptions are dangerous in this conversation.
They are, but hey, be brave.
We're doing this for the people, Joe. You know we're cool.
Yeah,
we're
I said it again, Rachel.
We have this trade all the time.
Okay. Let's assume that black people with the same background as the white person, same record. It could be a no record. Statistics bear out that the black person still gets more time for the same crime. Then what would account for that?
We can talk about time in all kinds of contexts of what state it happens in, what the crime is. Like, there was a time that Nevada, if you had even an inkling, not even a whole bag weighable, if you had a corner bag of marijuana in Nevada, you were looking at serious goodbye time and losing your car and your house and stuff. And that had nothing to do with race. It was just Nevada wasn't playing with weed in any context.
Okay, so how does that account for when blacks do with the same crime in the same time in the same?
It accounts for. That's why you can't say that it's because black. It's like you can say, why are cops so hostile toward blacks? It's like, well, 20 years of a lot of rap directed toward cops, and then the person they're pulling over is bumping that, looking like the guys in the videos. I'd be a little on edge too, because there's a black comedian that does a bit about if a black person wants to be safe, they need a cardigan and a Starbucks cup, and they will not be stop and frisk. Do that Ben Carson look, see how racist people are.
Here's why I give you such a hard time to say you hold right wing, even outright racist.
I thought I was the one that gives you a hard time.
Even outright racist positions, because surely that black guy is getting pulled over for a multitude of reasons. You're smart, I'm smart, right? He's getting pulled over because he's broke. He's getting pulled over because that rap record you just talked about. He's getting pulled over.
How do they know he's broke? They probably think he's got a knot in his pants.
Anyway. I don't want to lose my train of thought. He's getting pulled over for a multitude of reasons. I can call them all out. You can see them all. But if I say racism is one reason, and I've been doing it all night in any fucking area, you don't see that part. You can see the other million reasons, but racism cannot be one.
Do you agree with the myriad of reasons?
There are a lot. I can come up with a
right, but
lot.
The reasons I've thrown out that you say are deflecting from racism, do you agree with those things I said?
Oh, I tried to shut them out because I know they're obvious deflections. So I got to be honest with you.
That's how you're fucking up, Joe, because that's what I'm saying. Like, you're calling it deflections, and it's just a tally of what we can file right along with racism, except it happens to white people that much that you choose not to see or inquire about.
I would say it happens to white people, and I researched that. I can tell you the numbers of white motherfuckers that die and get pulled over. What do you mean I don't inquire? Why would you assume that?
Because
I must know the white statistics,
and I'm shaming myself. I'm shaming myself because I've always said this and it was lost on me till I'm saying it just now. We could all wake up the same color gray tomorrow and you'd find no change. Same situation. And even with Sly Shy, I said, Sly Shy, I respect what you're trying.
All great. I still get pulled over just as much.
Yep. And me too.
Fuck out of here.
It sounds like you think I'm dancing, but you can't say I'm dancing, can you?
Well, I don't know. I'm disputing the obvious.
You said get the fuck out of here because you didn't get the answer you've been pushing me to tell you, because it's not the truth, Joe. Sorry you had to find out here. It's not the truth.
Don't be sorry for me. I'm a big boy. I can handle when motherfuckers
You're
say
an individual that is responsible for your experience. Yes. And if all the black community were big boys, if the whole inner city black community were big boys, they wouldn't be capitalizing on each other for petty money and notoriety. They wouldn't be doing the things they're doing.
All right.
And it's easy for you. See, the thing that's an advantage to white people is we don't have the luxury of calling our problems because of racism. That's how we're impervious to racism, is we are challenged to face that we just fucked up. We can't look in the mirror and say it's because that color. We have to say, no, I fucked up in that job interview.
And that is something that black people lack.
Swinging on that cop.
And that's what black people lack.
I think that's what people with your view of racism being everywhere, I think that's what they lack. Because when you see a woman that mistook her mistook her gun for a taser, I see that event never could have happened if a guy with warrants who was already getting cuffed didn't try and jerk away and jump in his car and drive off.
Well,
he was caught, and he could not just wrecking with being caught. You have warrants, you're pulled over, you're caught. No, you still got a chance. Try and run. Again, and that's what gave that female a chance to fail at.
Yeah, you keep stating individual instances as if that would negate
you.
Excuse me. As if that would negate what I'm saying. Here's what I don't think you're taking into account. Let's see if you are. All of those people in the 60s that you saw that hated Martin Luther King and all of these cats, those people with that mentality are in positions of power. The little kid that runs up to me, two little girls runs up to me when I was downtown and says, nigger, 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 and runs off. Those kids someday will work somewhere. Those people,
maybe
those people with that mentality inhabit our system. Therefore, the same way rap or whatever I believe in would inhabit what I do at the job, their beliefs will inhabit what they do at the job. Yeah.
Just like inner city rap fans. Yes.
Very good. Therefore, you can see how races can enter the system. Yeah.
But it doesn't affect you. It's the lack of responsibility. Honor, able.
You keep bringing it to responsible, right?
Yep, that's what all individuals are, is responsible for them.
Yes, you would agree that racism is now in the system because racists work in the system. Do you agree? Do I get a yes, or do I get there were slaves in fucking ancient times?
So what you're saying is you have an answer I'm supposed to give.
I say you dance is what I say.
And I say what you think is a racism conversation is actually...
You're telling me what I think. Can you tell me what you think?
Well, that's what you've been doing. What I say, what I think.
Tell me what you think?
Listen, Joe Cool. Listen, Joe Cool.
Tell me what I think some more, because you're so good at it.
No, let me tell you what you don't see.
Why don't you tell me what you think? Can racism be in a system if racism
Okay, let me tell you what I think.
Can you say yes?
One of them has to give me a chance to answer. We've both played the talk over game. I'll acknowledge that. We're both interrupting each other.
All right, I'll apologize as well. You go.
Okay. I think that our conversation about racism and its effect on our society is also pendulum swinging between your personal issues as a black man and the overall larger subject. And if we can't stay on, so we are constantly talking about one or the other, but I think you're using that swing of context to still deny whatever I'll say, still expect the answer you want. And that's not response able, honor able as individuals.
All right, I got you. But in the reality, privilege is invisible to those who have it.
There is no.
Wait, let me finish. You love it.
You said privilege. I'm not going to respect this statement.
You can not respect it after I'm done. You still have that opportunity.
Okay. But say white privilege, because there's lots of privileges. Say white privilege, please, if that's what you mean.
I'll say what I mean.
For the audience, say white privilege.
I'll say what I mean. Okay. Privilege is invisible to those who have it. That's a saying that I think is true. And I think that includes me. My privileges, right? All these privileges where I get up in the morning and cut the light on and blah, blah. I go somewhere else where they don't have drinking water. I recognize that I was privileged all these times. It is not a white thing. Privilege is invisible to those who have it. You have the luxury of not examining statistics and all of that bullshit and going over the history of what happened to black folks. You have that advantage. I've had to study that shit. Every black motherfucker has to do it 100 times more than the average white guy, and a cat like me has to study it 1,000 times more.
Then, oh my God, I'm losing his name and I'm subscribed to him. Like, who's my guy? Conservative black dude that really straightens black people out.
Let me think.
Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell is my deep dive into that history you claim white people don't go into. And Thomas Sowell When you ask a black person with your mentality about him and your history about him, they say he's a shill for the right. Oh, it's because they disagree with him that now he's a shill for the right. Because he'll tell you in all honesty what was going on back then. Because he agrees with me. Black people fucking up because they fucking up, not because of white people. Thomas Sowell doing
you're
great.
Mischaracterizing my shit. You have these preconceived notions.
Black let people, me speak on the privilege thing.
Can you do it when it's your turn?
You said about the privilege. Let me
just interrupt me. So we're gonna go back to that, by the way.
I don't want you to waste your breath.
That apology that we had about interrupting, motherfucker, that's out the window. We can go back to
no, it wasn't an apology. I just acknowledge we're doing it. We're both doing it. But see, when I do it, when I interrupt anyone, I don't want them to keep wasting their breath on the sand foundation they're trying to build on. Like, let me speak on the privilege thing. People can recognize their privilege.
You determine.
People
my shit is qualified, I get one sentence and the great almighty Tommy decides if it's worthy.
Do you believe you only said one sentence?
Egotistical so-and-so?
No, you're just on the ropes, Joe. You're losing this debate, so you're mad.
I'm just getting started. I'm having a blast.
Okay, good. It's nice to hear you got it in you, because I do too. Now listen, let's not talk racial privilege. You just said privilege. I agree.
No. We'll finish my statement.
So you are talking white privilege.
We'll finish my statement. You assume that cats like me I don't forget the first part, but my point is, I see that black motherfuckers act up. I see we can pound our own shit. I see black motherfuckers whine and cry. I see black motherfuckers use the race card. That's see black motherfuckers do.
You don't have to say black. Just say motherfucker.
I see black people, because for the context of this conversation, I see black people that do all of these things.
Because people do all those things.
So I can also see it doesn't discount when other people are doing shit to black people, because we act a fool does not mean magically that we're not being targeted.
No, individuals act the fool. Black people do not act the fool. Individuals act the fool. Now let me comment on the privilege.
Yeah.
I and all my friends of both what we say is races, we were raised to appreciate that faucet running water in our house. We were raised to appreciate that parent bringing home groceries. We were told every meal that we did not finish was Chinese kids would love that shit, finish their plate. So when you sit here equating racism and privilege to something that you might not have been raised to appreciate as your individual experience, don't tell me that that's a whole society thing, because
no. I was saying nothing like, again, you take my shit.
Invisible.
I'm sorry.
It was not invisible to have a good thing going on. It is like a Christ-like thing to acknowledge it and appreciate it and thank your creator for giving that to you, as much as I thank him for the downsides of my life.
All right.
It's all on the individual to decide how you're going to live this life and what you're going to get out of it, Joe. Yeah. And you've let all kinds of influence tell you, because black, not a chance. And that's what the left is leaning into right now.
Yeah, I don't believe that. Not black, not a chance. I do well.
Well, that's what they want you to believe,
that's
though,
what,
the
that's
left.
What you just said. That's what I believe, and you're wrong again.
No, that's what the left is pushing, is if you're black, no chance, without a left vote.
And a second ago, you were saying how my shit equated somehow to your personal shit, and I was saying all white people, blah, blah.
And I was also saying you have an all-around comprehension issue with your display.
That's why you'll never understand nothing I'm saying. Stop acting
like you do. Oh, I understand, Joe. I say it's the opposite. I think you don't understand me.
Yes, but I let you get it out, and I take a turn to try to listen to what you're saying.
You allow me to get it out.
I don't get the same benefit here. Right?
Yes,
I don't get
cool.
my
I'll
shit
be getting it out. So.
You'll be great at determining what a motherfucker's first sentence is. You're great at that. Learning what a person thinks of their real thoughts, it'll never fucking happen with you, bro.
I think it does every day. It's how I'm owning all your friends on those panels. They're not winning, Joe, and you're not either right now. All you're lacking is like you need a respectable mediator to step in and acknowledge what I'm saying as far as how you're spelling out what I'm delivering to you. It's not coming back to me the same way when you repeat it at me.
I'm not quite sure, but I don't think we have anybody intermediating right now.
No, this is just a civil conversation for
It
entertainment.
is, so I don't need a mediator. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Well, I have a context to it. I'm trying to help future viewers understand as much as they can. Just like we look better to future viewers that I acknowledge we're friends, and we always have this debate.
Yes.
So we don't look like two fresh panel people just calling each other N-bombs and stuff.
All right, cool. And I get that. And just for
Show
the viewers,
business, baby.
For the viewers who are out there, I got no issues with Tommy. People are people. I am not mad at Tommy. I will not be doxing him when the fucking show is over. I will be nice as nice as I tomorrow, as nice as I am today to that dude. However, Tommy, we don't share that this is entertainment. I'm just up here rapping with you. I haven't even looked in the chat. I am not, this is not entertainment to me. This is what I like to do. Mental challenges is what I like to do.
We joined.
I agree. We both like to be challenged mentally, but I would say if this is entertainment, is relative to who chooses to sit and hear it and be entertained. I mean, it might be educational for others, you know.
Just a second, Tommy. We're joined by a friend of the channel. I'm just going to bring them up. Hello.
All right, let me zoom in and see who we're joined by.
Greetings.
No, it's not Dennison. No, that's
hey,
not.
Baby.
That is my
I got small
man.
screen. I can't read his name.
Dennison. It's Dennison.
Oh, hey, Dennison.
I love that dude and Witchy Nikki and Witchy Bitchy something, and I admire both of these cats. And Dennison, I'll shut up if you made any observations.
And I'm still here, but I'm gonna mute to eat quietly.
Oh, great. So I come on and everybody stops talking.
Right. No, I'll unmute if you address me about something, but I want to mute so you don't hear me chomping down.
Tommy, take your break.
Right, go to sleep.
I don't know the meaning of that term. I don't know what that is. Break.
I would assume Dennison has hopped up here to jump on me, Tommy, not you. But Dennison, what's going on, man?
Not much. It took me a while to get up here, though, so I missed the last few minutes of conversation.
Yeah, it was probably repetitive.
Good to see you again, Rachel. Joe, of course.
It was great to see you, bro. I missed you. I didn't know it until you hopped up here. How bad I missed you.
I don't think I've met Tommy before.
I know we've never met because you're greeting me cordially.
So far, aside from constantly interrupting my friend Joe, I think you've done a pretty decent job of taking him to task on his critical race theory.
Oh, good. We could talk about that shit. Yeah.
Now there's a man that's not worried about his own channel's view numbers to associate with me in such a way.
He's not.
No, definitely not.
Are you done, Dennison? Because I want to.
Yeah. I'm just gonna listen for a while, so
no.
back
You're
into
gonna
the
have
flow.
to talk. You're gonna have to talk because I want to ask you. Would you agree that racism, along with other things, has penetrated American society?
We gotta go. We have to elaborate on racism. You know how I am about that.
I know, and I'll try to give you some leeway and then try to not to give you some of the heat I got with Tommy. I mean, we can start off just in whatever general sense you can imagine, in any way, in any form or fashion.
I mean, if any form of fashion, then I can't see how I could give any answer aside from yes.
Other than, of course, it has.
So
right on.
So let me do one thing real quick. Two things.
Yeah.
So to me, racism is the systemization of race.
Okay.
It's making an ism out of race.
All right.
That's the way that we should use the word. And I think then if we do that, the statistics, as you put it, would show that white people are actually more discriminated against in the United States than any other race. That being said, I think the definition that's used when we have these kinds of conversations is prejudice, bigotry, hatred, discrimination based upon skin color. And I think human beings are prejudiced, discriminatory, bigoted, tribal, and skin color is one of the most obvious things that people can choose to try to do the stuff that they like to do anyway, which is hate on one another.
All right, I would agree with that. I'd agree with that assessment.
And
And
if I could
let's,
support that, that's an aspect of your core lizard brain where when you get into survival mode,
yeah,
creatures will say, what looks like me? I need to
yes,
group with that.
mob mentality. I absolutely agree with, and your racism definition, in the sense that you meant it. I would agree that if you give it that definition, now white people are definitely in the boat a ton. But you say more than black people. Can you examples of more than black people?
Well,
I think I know the core. I think
because
I know why it's happening.
the systemization of race
Yeah.
is definitely legally, institutionally, socially predicated upon the fact that white people are privileged simply by birth, that their skin color not only entitles them to some kind of superiority, but also the an equal amount of guilt and shame just simply for being white. Not only are they guilty of all the crimes of history, but they're also currently responsible for all of the socioeconomic problems for anybody who's considered non-white, which just the classification of white people alone is
So how's
extremely
this
racist.
systematic targeting go?
Oh, because it's legally done and socially perpetuated and acceptable. Like there's plenty of people who are your definition of racist against definitely all considered black people, but you could obviously extrapolate on that and say all people of color to a different, to a greater or lesser extent depending on skin color. Even in the black community, sometimes people with darker skin are treated differently compared to light skinned people, as you definitely know, right?
I know, yeah.
But when it comes to it being socially acceptable, pushed in media, and actually legislated,
Yeah.
then I think you find that white men are actually the most legally discriminated against
I guess
group of people in the country.
I guess you have great arguments, and I wouldn't debate any of those. I guess I was talking about when I said system. I guess I was mostly talking about like government, financial shit like that.
That
You
is
got.
the media. You just not everybody
Right.
is shown the connection, but it is the media.
I'd
Government
have to
is media.
expand. When I was using my talking points with Tommy, I wasn't thinking about all that. I was just thinking like institutionally and shit like that.
Same thing.
Uh,
Like what he came in talking about, what he's talking about. And Joe, you and I, and maybe everyone on the panel is old enough, and maybe Henry didn't see this as not American, but we grew up to watch the 90s where the media said overall black people bad, and now they've transitioned over to no, white people bad.
yes,
and
fucking
you see the
leftists done
results in
lost their
society.
mind. Leftists done lost their mind. I can say that shit because I know the right has lost their mind as well. But yes, what the fuck? This world that we live in now with this
no, during the Bush-Cheney stuff is when I think we'd say the right lost its mind. Right now, the
yes,
right is the most rational thing to
yes,
grip
yes. I
to
was saying
as
now
the
the
left
left
loses
is
its
worse.
mind.
Now I was saying the left is worse now.
I wouldn't discourage the use of those terms. I think the left-right paradigm is a false one.
I think that's a given. Right.
Okay,
right,
so
and we have these
brain?
cycles of authoritarianism versus liberty,
yes,
and this sound I feel naive saying it out loud, but I swear there was a time in between there where everybody of both colors, of all colors, was saying, hey, let's stop judging each other on our skin color, period. So there was a black people a really bad time, and now there's a white people a really bad time. But I swear, I remember it when I was growing up. At one point, everybody was like, you know what? We need to stop doing this color shit because it's not working. Right, I swear that happened for a little while.
Listen, this is the challenge to these debates. We're talking about like different contexts. When I said the media in the 90s said black people bad, and now the media says white people bad, I'm not saying that's what people are being. I'm saying that's what you're led to be propagandized into. Because there was a time we all bound together to fight a small mustache, and not one black person in the military had an issue with racism.
And I think the propaganda was against this categorization of, like, they realized it wouldn't work, right? Like, in other words, I think a lot of this this is an oversimplification, but I do classify a lot of these conversations as like Malcolm versus Martin, right? Yeah, and for a time, Martin was winning, right? And I don't know which one is better, because I mean, I took my name as Denizen X because Malcolm is like, right, you know, a spiritual father to me, right? I love that man. So, but I lean towards Martin, right, in my own personal nature.
Of course, you feel like you should.
But
I understand,
guys,
100%.
I mean, I don't want to be the white guy with all the black history here, but before Malcolm X died, he was like, "Yeah, I should have went that MLK way." MLK was right.
Yeah, he was. Two things, if I can get in with Denizen. There is proof to what you said, Denizen. There's a test that they do with black kids and dolls. They put white dolls and black dolls. They've been doing it for many years, since the 50s or something. And there were only a few years. Not only the black kid says, they say, which one is bad? They point to the black doll. Which one is ugly? Even the black kids point to the black doll. Everyone does. And they were saying that society is putting in their head shit. But there was a time, and it was a few years after Martin M died, and that revolution that you're talking about, where black kids picked their own doll that only lasted a year or two, and then it went back to everybody picking. So there was a time in the early 70s when motherfuckers did be like, yeah, that race shit is not really important for a while.
But this is how they trick you. Why would you take kids and put things in front of them and say, which one bad?
It's worth it to me. It's worth it to me, Joe.
That's as loaded as your questions. You ask those loaded questions. Hey, Tom, which is bad? White people or black people? How ridiculous is that, Joe?
Because here's not ridiculous, because we have people like you that believe that shit don't even exist. Here is
no, I'm saying I've told you this whole debate that it exists. I'm telling you it doesn't matter for as far as what you want to achieve.
I would agree with you. We wouldn't have been debating that, because I agree with you. You're doing well. I'm doing well. I'm happy.
So that brings us back to, if it's not holding you back, if you are not showing me damages and victims, who cares? Because you're sitting here calling me a nigga. Who cares?
Apparently you. And there are damages. There are factual damages when a motherfucker does more time for the same fucking crime.
But you have yet to prove that was all because black.
I'm not saying it's all because of black. I don't think it is. That is not my assertion. So
you're in a
multifaceted,
this whole conversation. I was only in this debate thinking you're going to show me that it's a racial thing.
Wait, because you keep mischaracterizing me. Do you understand that I say there are many things that attribute to that, and racism is one? Stop trying to say that I'm saying it's the only one.
That's why we got into this, or I wouldn't even be this far into it. We got into this. This whole debate was, Joe, show me how racism is stopping a thing. I admit there's a lot of mean words going around. I know, because there's a lot of black dudes calling white dudes nigga. I know there's racism verbally.
There is nothing mean and nothing racist about that, bro. You reveal yourself.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not racist for you to call a white guy a nigga.
No,
that's not racist.
It's not racist when my friends call me the N-word.
Yeah, it's not
but
racist.
I don't get it. I get it called to me by black dudes with a gun in my face, bro.
Well, understand it's not racist when I call you a nigga or Denizen, my nigga. I might have said that when you hop up here. Do you think I was being racist?
What's racist to me?
No, the context, the intent should decide.
When you sound like a white guy trying to explain why he said the N-word.
Let me finish, though. When I say Denizen hops up here, and I'll be like, that's my nigga. I'm being racist to him? That has to be true for your assertion to hold.
No, I think it can look racist to a lot of people watching the show. You're just worried about. I mean, you and I are friends, Joe. Joe, you know that I'm not worried about you calling me a nigga. We just said we know each other, but we're also doing a show, Joe. This is a debate.
We didn't say that. You said that. I am not paying no attention to no show. We just rapping.
Well, then you need to pay attention that you are probably going to be viewed by 1,000+ people at least being on this channel. We are doing a show.
But no, you need to pay attention to that shit, man. I'm good. I'm okay. I got a big channel. I get viewed by 1,000 niggas every day.
Yeah, but you don't do live panels on your channel. And I respect that.
The
channel I'm about to make, no one's going to have a chance to bring me on a panel on my show. It's just going to be posted videos.
I don't see how that's relevant. I think now we're arguing for the sake of arguing.
We're getting into the weeds, but is what you're saying you don't see how that's relevant? I don't see how we're on a solid debate trail anymore. We're going to say, Oh, Joe does agree with everything I say, and that's why I was dismissing what he was saying. So he agrees. Do I win?
No, if you'd have listened to the whole fucking thought instead of cutting me off, we might have got there quicker.
No, I know that you're always looking for acknowledgement that racism is what's holding every black person back, and they are not responsible
But
for
I've
their.
never heard Joe say that.
Yeah, who thinks that crazy shit? Stop attributing that to me.
But I'm mixing it up in the sense of if we can't acknowledge what is, then you are just smoke screening all this at this point.
I'm trying to acknowledge what is. I'm saying it's multifaceted. Racism is one of them. Fucking economics is a bigger part. I like to get to that conversation, but most people don't even think the racism part is a part.
But when you acknowledge that, you're forgetting about earlier Joe Cool that wants the answer. He's asking me the question
he
specifically
for
the answer he wants, and I'm not going to give it to him.
Early Joe Cool was just trying to put you on the hot seat so I can use it against you later when I call you a racist. I was just being control.
He does tend to do that more often when he's being filibustered too, Tommy, right? So and I want to hear both I want to hear both of your arguments, right? So when you talk over him, I can't hear either one of you.
And I'm trying to tell you guys we're only doing it because we are friends, and like that's how strangers can be better about that, not talking over. But
like you said, we are on a panel, right? So take that into consideration and just slow down just a little bit. And what helps me with Joe when he throws 8 things at me at once is to take notes, to let him get it all out, because he can be overwhelming. He'll make you want to jump in and be like,
And you're right. And I specifically don't take notes because that shows me what gets rotated enough that it's getting like established in my memory, and that makes it more acknowledgeable. Whereas I could write everything down and cherry pick every little statement. You know, not saying notes is wrong.
Isn't the alternative cutting niggas off though, and that's never okay.
It's never
like I can't keep it all in my head.
Yeah. Either you suck it up or write it down, but cutting motherfuckers off is not an option.
Well, cutting your friends off is an option. And that's why I'm saying he's right for keeping me in check. And hopefully the audience is right for understanding where I'm saying, and we just work it out. But I'd like to refocus and find, like the way you just came at me with you agree with all that and yet tell me racism. I want us to find a new defined, what are we talking about, so I can get back on that track.
All right. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna be a good boy because you've been a good kid. All right, be nice. Racism. Let's try to give it a very basic definition. Shit, it ain't easy, is it? Give it a basic definition.
I can.
Okay.
Racism, as we know in West Virginia, where I grew up, the most racist state in America, where all my black friends had 2 working parents. Racism is defined as feeling superior over another strictly on race.
I would define it as that too. That's what I normally define racism as, believing one race is superior inferior to another.
Like you are only better just because race. That's what racism is.
That's not bad, but what's race?
It doesn't exist.
Oh yeah, I think we all agree on that.
So no to everything else that you just said.
Yeah.
It's that context thing.
There is no race.
But because we have an idea of race, that's how you get that ism you're talking about. We have defined something as race that is really culture, and we call it racism.
Very good. For communicative purposes, I'm okay with calling it race because I know you guys are smart enough to know that there's no fucking race. You know, we're just talking about in the way society, culture thinks about it, talks about it, what these knuckleheads think. But I am...
that's the complication. We agree that there is no race, but the belief there is what creates the racism.
Conversation. Yes, I would agree. Right. So yes, how do we get out of this shit?
Well, the social constructs don't come out of nowhere, though. We have to acknowledge the difference in skin color and the human propensity to be like, you look different than me. You talk different than me. Right. You're bad.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
The first thing we have to overcome is that mob mentality. I would agree with that. That's the biggest thing, like gangs.
So what we're really talking about is tribalism. And the fact that at one point human beings could only survive in very small groups. And if anybody from another group came along, there were 2 ways it was going to end. You were all going to start screwing each other and make a larger group. Or one was going to try to steal from and kill the other group.
Yes,
and that's just the way that it was for thousands and thousands of years.
All right, so we've got that ingrained.
How did that work out for the Neanderthals? The Neanderthals
oh, it's
went
bad.
with, we're gonna fuck.
Trust me, I'm not a racist.
Said we're gonna fuck, and now they're absorbed into us. That's where the Neanderthals went.
There were 5 races, human races on this planet at the same time. The Homo sapiens were walking around. We killed all of them.
No, we didn't kill them. I just said we fucked them into us.
We fucked them. Most of them we killed. I know the last one we killed was.
If you had an island full of German shepherds and you put 3 poodles on them, they don't kill each other, but they will outfuck and outbreed till those poodles dissipate again.
It's funny because I was just, the end of my statement was the last ones we killed were on an island. They were called the Hobbit people because they were so fucking small, and we hadn't found them because they were on an island. When we got there, we killed them. I'm not sure how much we fucked them into our shit. It's feasible, but looks like we just.
Well, when I say Neanderthals, I'm talking about that like human ape-looking face that wasn't us. That they would have been less intelligent, but they would have been more resilient.
Undoubtedly, some Homo
they would have been able to eat raw meat. Do you know where they went, Joe? They're found in the DNAs of Germans and Asian countries because they just fucked out of being. They co-created people with us until the multitude of our type just drowned them out, and now they're only found in DNA strands.
So there is Neanderthal still found. I wonder, is it Neanderthal found and all? I didn't know Neanderthal was found in humans.
No, there are no Neanderthals. You just find traces Neanderthal of DNA in DNA.
Yeah, that's what I'm interested in. I didn't know that one group had more or less. I never thought about that shit.
And that's why when Christians say, if we came from monkeys, why are there still monkeys? Because if we came from monkeys, we weren't those monkeys. We were a type of, actually, we're still a type of monkey just because of that thumb on our hands. That homo word, that upright.
Ape. But
we were fish as well.
I am an AMC ape as well, so I'm 2 apes. Shout to Martin Shkreli.
Actually, yeah, we're fish. I'm a descendant of God and the descendants of Edom, from Eden. But humans as a whole, we came from primordial ooze, I would think.
Now,
the percentage
Henry,
of
sorry, Joe. I just want to interrupt to tell everybody I gotta go to bed. I'm very elderly, and it's I've been here 2.5 hours. And I want to thank Henry for having us on.
You need a nap.
Lauren's great.
Yes,
I got her 6 o'clock. I am up every day. 6 o'clock in the morning doing a show. I do it for 3 hours. We have a lot of fun. It's kind of music based, but we talk about different things. And but Henry, I want to thank you for having me over here. And you guys are great, Tommy. Very nice getting to know you and Joe and Dennison. Smart guy. Good to have you up here at the end of the thing. Thanks everybody for watching Nick Fantasy. You know me. I got to get up early, get my show going tomorrow morning. Yeah, there's the channel right there. A bunch of little video stuff I've thrown up lately, different bands and stuff, little shorts. And I'm doing a reno on my room. There's some action, some different clips and stuff. Holy smokes. All kind of stuff there on the channel. So I want to thank you, Henry, and Lauren, of course. It'd be fun to come back again when Lauren's here and talk to her again. I really enjoyed my time, Henry.
Nice having you, Rachel.
You're a big friend of the show. Thanks for coming.
Some of you. Take care.
Right, take care.
Bye for now. Thank you again, Harry. Thanks, guys. Bye for now.
Let any YouTube creators take note. That's how you do a plug. That's how you do an exit plug right there.
Right.
Yeah, she's great. She's great.
She is. She was. Yeah. I like it.
So you guys have been let me fire it with this question. In the Jordan Peterson sense, this is what I always loved about some of his talks, because I did this kind of to our friend Slasheye. She thought we were talking about race, and I was like, Slasheye, I did the if we all woke up gray thing. I was like, you're still a female, and there's the whole male versus female thing, and you're interpreting it as a racial thing. But I was actually telling her, hey, you're doing a female thing right now. As in,
I'm smoking a lot. You got to say that again. If we all woke up gray, like gray hair?
I'm gonna try not hack up
color.
Peter. I'm gonna try not to hack up Jordan Peterson's words as much. I'm just gonna try and paraphrase him the best I can, because he was saying it in the sense of transgender. He's like, so then what? If you got rid of all white people, now who's the biggest card victim? Is it a black woman? Is it a trans black woman? Is it a pregnant black woman compared to a trans black? Like, he's like, what card do you want to pick by the time we settle on any of this?
Yeah, that's the issue, man. I think it's a little bit of that. We think too basically we do that. If I say Trump is good, then people believe automatically that you believe the other side, the opposition, Democrats, are evil. I think that's what the fuck it is. Whenever a motherfucker try to talk about something, people make all these assumptions that he's over there, he's against us, and fucking shit doesn't progress. We need to fucking IQ up, level up, and be able to talk about these things and assume that the motherfucker next to you is wise.
So you accept the answer he's about to give you rather than demanding an answer you want from him.
Oh, fuck no, I wouldn't agree to that.
Right? So, so in essence, like, that's the thing. The solution is under Paul's nose. It's all about the individual and their responsibility. I love Ben Carson the Ben Carson story that he was a young black man. He tried to stab his mom. The only reason he didn't is because her belt buckle stopped it. And now he's the first surgeon to ever successfully separate conjoined twins, to do operations on a baby in the womb. And he was a black man.
Wait. You forgot his major achievement, hemispherical brain surgery. He's the guy who
I think I'm getting it wrong then. I thought it was the dividing two conjoined twins. But regardless, he's black, ain't he? Did racism stop that?
No, who thinks that racism?
Well, I think it's more racist to give.
No one is making the claim that racism stops something.
Then what is
no
the
one
problem?
up here is making that claim.
Then I don't have a problem with it.
You don't have a problem with it? Okay.
Well, I mean, are you just talking about mean words? Because I hear mean words all the time, even if it's just
no. I'm talking about.
I have a problem with all of it. I just want to be on the record saying that, including the mean words.
Then get used
please
to
continue,
my friend.
Yes, I am very used to it, sir. Y'all talking monkeys disappoint the fuck out of me on a regular basis. Don't matter what your goddamn skin color is. I'm pretty disappointed all the time.
You're disappointed in the lack of honor able, response able. You're disappointed, as am I. I grew up around trailer parks. I know white people. We left white people. White people split from white people to make America. Run tell that.
Wait, say that again. White people what?
White people were so sick of white people, they left their country close to where Henry is. They came over here, took out some natives to start their own. And that's
I'm
fine.
feeling. That's how I feel about white people now too. I'm about to leave them. Go somewhere where people are kind of mocha. I'm about to get out.
Well, that's the thing. That's why we're so politically driven in life right now, because do you think we'd have all these political issues if you could just keep moving to an empty continent? You just leave. You wouldn't worry about your politics.
No, most people can't. I can because
no one can. You can't.
No, I can because I'm only me and a couple other people, so I can't find a place. I'm telling you, there's some places in the Caribbean where you'll never hear from me again.
Like an Epstein Island?
No.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what he was thinking. Yeah.
Dude.
No, just some place that's less economically developed than the United States, but just safe enough to where I won't get robbed every day for my skin color. And then I'm just gonna,
if you're worried
I'm gonna die an old man like in Godfather 2, keeling over in my tomato plants.
The tomato garden, right?
That's my dream. That's my retirement plan, away from all of y'all crazy mofos.
It's my plan to be in the fucking woods somewhere with my nearest neighbor. Wouldn't hear me fire a gun.
Now, Joe actually knows I've already purchased like 10 acres of waterfront remote off-grid land. And even though I'm still trying to make that a cool place to go, I am realizing the folly in a way of just abandoning humanity to say fuck it. Like, I agree with what you're saying about going to the Caribbean and doing that. And I feel like that's a loss on myself as an individual if the best I can do in life. I know no individual is going to change the world, but if the best I got is like, fuck it, see ya.
Withdrawing.
I don't know if that was, I don't know if that's the right decision. So, Tommy, I can still make it vacation land. It doesn't have to be fuck society.
Tommy, you feel an obligation to help society?
only in my personal immediate area, and I think that's what all individuals should be doing. Like, that's why politicians will say the important politics is your local politics, and then hopefully those guys move on to correct DC.
You said only. I don't want to leave that hanging out there. You don't really mean only, because if you could help those through social media at different places, you're okay with that too, right?
Right, I'm going to attempt it, because sometimes the way you help and improve is to tear down bullshit albino monkeys, and I'll probably do a little bit of that. That was a coded question for the future audience that doesn't need to know what that meant, but you get what I meant.
Yeah.
Like Joe Cool, imagine if you were a superhero with psychic abilities where you specifically could track down the bad apple cops and just do your thing as you saw fit, but you weren't ending police forces.
I already have that ability.
Well, it wouldn't clear in a trial. Like, if you were on trial to get the chair and it was over shape debates of the planet, would you have confidence in that trial?
Yes. I wouldn't have confidence in the jury, so no, I guess I don't. My arguments would be sound, but
I don't want to be a cop that's dying on the basis of, trust me, bro, I'm psychic, and then you kill me.
Hunting down the bad cops. Can you give me a percentage, Tommy, of what cops are bad, what cops are good?
No, I can't, because
give me a guess.
I would say not only with your dancing answer of the individual, also the event they're involved in, because I've had in my less than favorable past, I've had state cops following me where I pulled into a gas station because I'm the one that knows I have 2 pounds of marijuana in my trunk, and that cop pulled into the following restaurant. And now me and my friend are in that gas station for an hour. You can't tell me that motherfucker didn't pull in to keep following us. And when I finally swallowed my balls and fucking left, he didn't follow us. And it was all in my head, but he was behind me as I could have been pulled over and shook down.
How does that personal thing have to do with the percentage of good and bad cops?
I can't give you a percentage because what you say is good and bad cops might not be what is good and bad cops. Is it a bad cop because they bust a black guy?
Your percentage. I don't want mine. I want yours. Jim, Dennison, you said you could give a percentage.
100% bad.
I know.
Then that's for lack of a better, terminology, wrong. Because the good versus bad thing is way above my pay grade. But in the context of this conversation, all cops are bad.
Well, let me challenge him so Joe Cool doesn't think I only challenge black people.
Go ahead.
I thought you were gonna say 100%.
Why would I think weird shit like that, bro? Stop it.
It's the entertainment. I know you, Joe. It's the entertainment side. Just roll with me. I thought that dude was going to say all cops are bad because they're not stopping the bad ones. So if you're not stopping the bad ones, you are a bad one. And what I can see is numerous cases where the cops that stand up for what's right get fired, get, in a sense, doxxed in the cop style. But
then you would have developed a percentage because you've seen numerous cases of that and the other.
You should have a percentage. Statistics are bullshit, and you're asking me for statistics. I don't use statistics, Joe. I use logic. That's why I can go.
That won't come back to bite you at all.
Yeah. No, if you participate in a system in which telling the truth and doing the right thing means you get doxxed, as you put it, or ostracized, that's proof that you're in a criminal organization.
Well, I didn't say we're not in a criminal organization, but now you get into the weeds of who is a good person that doesn't realize they're a robot of that, and who is a person that isn't a robot but is openly going with it to keep a job. Like, this is why I go back to the individual, like how much time you got.
That's my point, though, is that's all bad. All of that we can categorize under bad. It doesn't. You don't have to be at fault
for not picking up where they're leaving off. Like, because you don't go out and make up for how they're bad, you are also bad. And
I mean, you could make that argument if you extrapolate out farther and farther and farther. I would say, though, even with your definition, though, and your usage of that term, I'm less bad than cops, though, because I don't engage. I don't willingly sign up, put on the badge, wear a gun, kick in people's doors, drag them out of their houses, pull them over in their cars. I don't do any of those things.
Hold on, that's a lot of fallacy for one statement.
No, it's not any fallacy. Once you take that oath, when you take that oath, what you're swearing to is not the oath. It's to do all the things that I said, because they don't follow the oath. They do all the things that I said. You're agreeing to it. So now if you're unaware of that, that's ignorance rather than guilt.
Right.
But I still put that
yes. I still
put that under the bad column in the context of your question.
What you're talking about, though, and let me just assure you guys,
I agree.
I kind of threw that out there to make you say that stuff, because me and Joe have had this conversation so many times. I need other people. You can't just tell people things sometimes. You have to make them think it's their idea to get through to them, even though you would have told them straight. What you're talking about is the individual again, because we are at fault for thinking what they oath to is what you're saying they're doing bad. Yes, it says to serve and protect, even though the highest court determined they are not obligated to serve and protect us.
Mm-hmm. The court's also
they're
bad.
Not right, and it's the whole system, and it's
absolutely.
and it's right. And so if you've seen me on Lauren's show, you know that I always want to come at Lauren to challenge her ideas of sovereigns, because I'm not a sovereign, but I know what they're trying to do, and I know how they're doing it wrong. And even whenever she's talking to a lawyer that's stationed in Korea, she's coming at him like the sovereign out of relativity. She'll question another lawyer because she has sovereign in her, but she also wants to be a lawyer and will go into that robot mode. And this is why I love debating her, because I see that. I see the dichotomy. I want to challenge it. And I want to do that to anyone that's listening if they feel one way or the other. Because you are a free individual, only as far as you're willing. A republic, if you can keep it.
Just so we're clear, your answer to my question, what percent? You really thought 100%, but you were just playing with Dennison to get him to say it first.
No, I'm showing you how statistics are bullshit. And even after I told you statistics are bullshit, you're asking me for statistics.
Yeah, I thought you said 100% because me and Dennison said 100%. I'm wrong.
I'm not saying 100%. I'm saying God bless those badged people that are responsible for large groups of marauding, angry men to not assemble like they would without them. And I will admit, if that started happening, if America went into a purge state, I'm probably going to come out okay. But I want everyone to be okay. And the police, here's what I'm going to do, Joe.
Wait, before you go on, I wanted to comment on that. That large group of people that go out and stop marauders. What do they do every
marauders
day?
Develop into that large group.
That shit. Those are the police that stop those guys every day. What do? They hurt and target motherfuckers. So I don't necessarily say God bless those motherfuckers because they were there. I'd rather get a group of my guys up to when shit arises and we handle our own business.
That's because the privilege you have is invisible to you.
Hey, please explain.
What if you were on a tear about slavery for years and years, but your slave forefathers wouldn't have changed a thing because they knew any black person in this day and age would be challenged to get into the best country in the world. And because of their sacrifice, you were born here and you don't see your privilege because it's invisible to you.
I'm too high, Dennis, and you might have to speak. I don't understand.
You're not too high. You are cognitive dissonance to the truth.
Well, can you translate that, Dennis?
Well, I'm cognitive dissonance to the truth, too, because I need you to at least repeat that for me. I couldn't follow that.
I understand. So
you take it from a white man, but a black man.
There was
you cognitively dissonant motherfucker.
And we usually use cognitive dissonance in the science community when we're talking to the overly zealot religious people, but it's a mental thing.
We know what cognitive dissonance is, motherfucker.
Cognitive dissonance is when you are displayed information that it is so contrary to what your core belief is, you refuse to believe it by any means possible. Kind of like, you think you're too high, but I've seen you much higher than this, Joe.
All right, I'll try again.
All the conversations I've had with vast amounts of black people, from my ghetto life to things like this, I've always been trying to articulate how to cover the pre-known conditions and corner everyone into getting off that quickly. Because you're always going to hear the same debates, whether it's guns, racism. People have their preloaded debates that they don't know are dispelled already. So what I was saying that sounded confusing is, yes, slavery, lots of bad things happen. Slavery, bad. And some politician got politically noosed for saying, think of all the good aspects of slavery. And I agree. It's like, if we did do reparations, everyone talks about you would have to genetically trace yourself back to prove you came from slavery. And so if we could time travel back to those slaves, show them the future of America, show them this cornucopia experiment of a country, the greatness that comes from it, and tell them, hey, we know you got a rough time here and you're probably going to like end this existence in a horrible fashion, but your offspring generationally from now will be citizens here, like no questions asked, as opposed to all these people that are
I'm gonna say white man will continue to think they're better than you. Way into the future, these motherfuckers will still think you're less than them.
That's what I'm saying, Joe, is that's not true. You see all these white people.
That's true.
No, it's not. Well, okay, individuals.
That is true.
Individuals, but what?
No, not just individuals. Individuals now, man, but it took a minute. It took a minute. It took a lot of fucking pain and suffering too, and a lot of people.
You sound like you have white guilt, sir.
No.
Well, you need.
No, I don't. I ain't guilty for a damn thing.
Exactly. So
I'm just not gonna. Listen. Here's the thing. You may be so averse to feeling guilty that you're in denial of actual history.
Wrong. I originated my existence in the heartland of racism, where I grew up. You could still find cannonballs, musket rounds, because I grew up on the line of America where people killed their own cousins, killed their brother over this stance that we're still arguing. Now, back then, there might have been a little bit of detrimental racism compared to like
a little bit.
Oh, that was an understatement, but I know you guys don't. I know you guys don't have Thomas Sowell in your lives because
you're wrong. You're wrong. How old are you? I've probably been listening to Sowell since you were still in elementary school.
I'm 43.
Okay, cool. So we're around the same age. I've been listening to Thomas Sowell since I was a child.
Then that's why your stance on I'm not saying you're saying white people bad, but you're over percentaging of it. That's why I'm curious.
I didn't give you any percentages. I just told you that for quite some time after slavery, there was definitely a prevailing opinion among white people that they were superior to black people. Even those who supported abolition. Right? Because what else would you expect from them? The only blacks they interacted with were chattel. Right, so and for that not to affect the psychology of a white person, just as it would affect the psychology of a black person in reverse, is obtuse. It's obtuse, right?
Let's be honest. That black motherfuckers, the image, especially us in Chicago, will affect people today as well.
Let me tell you why I challenge this man's claim that he has Sowell in his life. Thomas Sowell.
That I have what?
You say you have Thomas Sowell in your life, and now I have to challenge that because that's the man that taught me that the post-slavery treatment of black people was largely determined by did they go south or did they go north? Because when I talk about how white people left white people to start this country,
that though. What you just said about North versus South didn't refute anything I said, and nothing I said was mutually exclusive to that statement. So I'm not sure why.
Let me finish. Well, that's why you're not sure. You got to let me finish the point, which is regurgitating the man that's in your life. When you went north or south as a black man, you found out, oh, even despite slavery ending, these white motherfuckers was feuding. And it's because the North didn't like the South because they just wanted to drink and listen to music and not work. And up north, they wanted to stay straight edge and get this country going. And that's where, like, the individual applies, is like, what are you here for? Are you here to get, like, I used to work at a liquor store where a lot of Russians come in. because Russians are trained to move to America, get on benefits, ship that back to Putin. That has nothing to do with racism, but I'm talking about, like, what did you want to do here? Now that you have your freedom, what are you doing in America? Because I always ask RBR, if we really wanted to exterminate the black race, would we not have started sending them back after the Civil War and sink those ships on the way out? Why didn't we do that? Why did we incorporate them? Is that the Nazi thing to do? To incorporate slavery that we ended?
I mean, no offense, but none of that addressed what I said or refuted it.
Yes, but I'm trying to get us back on a general track where it doesn't matter the individual.
No, I'm already on that track. I'm already on that track. Here's the thing that I'm trying to explain to you. You don't need to deny history or obvious facts about human psychology in order for us to get on a new page. No, then this is the problem. And this is the thing. You're never going to get people who are too obsessed with race to listen to you about being less obsessed with race when you tell them stupid shit to their face like you did a couple of minutes ago.
But Joe Cool is sitting right here. You're telling me I don't have to deny history, and that's what Thomas Sowell does. So tell me again, you got Thomas Sowell.
No, Thomas Sowell doesn't deny history, no.
No, he acknowledges the real history. See, the wrong history is the idea that slavery was
Go ahead and
just
pull up a
people.
clip of Thomas Sowell saying how no white people thought they were superior, or that it wasn't a prevailing attitude, that it wasn't a prevailing attitude among white people at any point between slavery and today, because you're the one who keeps trying to use Sowell as a hammer to hit me over the head with. We could have just had a conversation. We could have just had a conversation about my ideas and your ideas. You brought in Sowell. No. I'm not mad. You're talking over me, so I'm going to talk louder so I can finish my point. That's what I do. I don't need to be angry to finish what I'm saying. Okay? So you're the one who tried to... I'm trying to. You stop any time, and I'm going to keep going. Sowell wasn't a topic of conversation. It was what I thought and what you thought. You brought him up and tried to say I never heard of him before.
He said, "This is why you think so much like Sowell. I'm going to use him to prove a thing." Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So you could leave Sowell out of it. By the way,
you're both.
It is what you say. What you're going to want to do? No, not what you're thinking. I have no idea what you're thinking. I'm basing it off of what you said out loud with your mouth hole. So if you have okay. That's fine. If you believe that, what I would recommend you do is Joe and I will rap for a little bit. You pause to go back, watch the stream, listen to yourself say it.
No, I want you to tell me right now again what I just said, because what Joe's got wrong is like that I'm telling you ain't Sowell. What I'm saying is,
that's not what I'm saying.
We both said Sowell.
That's not what he said.
But now you're not showing me that you understood.
You're miscategorizing.
When you tell me to bring, well, let me show you how much I'm missing. When you tell me to bring him up, what I would have cited is a video where he shows what the white slavery was, how white slaves were among black slaves, and how that was happening.
That's not relevant to what we were talking about.
Very relevant.
Okay, explain it, please.
He won't. He's going to jump to
the reason I can see your irrelevance is because even with Joe, I'm constantly in this rotation of wait. Well, are we debating that racism is a problem or isn't it? Are we debating that it affects or doesn't?
We are never debating that. You want to debate the obvious. We're trying to debate the intricate.
No, the obvious is why you should get over it and be you and successful and not worry about who's racist and who's not, because even if they are racist, that's not illegal.
I'm good. I know my rights. I kick ass. I'm not putting my feelings into it. I love my life and my family. I'm doing well. I got no complaints. I'm even making the money. So I'm not talking about that shit. And
my only criticism of that is if you're not mad and you're doing so great, I don't see why you got to grill those cops even just over the minor stuff. Like you go in there.
It's over. It's not for me. Right. If it, maybe I do get some enjoyment out of it because I'm a druggie and all of that bullshit.
No, I don't think I'm a druggie too, and I'm telling you I disagree.
Any motherfucker out there taking that kind of risk and that type of shit with my heart, I couldn't do it for the money and all of that bullshit. He's doing it for a cause. I'm out there. I sit here and think of ways that I could talk to them, not irritate them, get them to see that they're doing harm. So I'm helping others when I'm out there.
That's why I've always tried to tag along, because I think I'm that interpreter between my experience with cops and my experience as cop.
They are hard.
And then the way I see you as like, I agree, Joe, but that's way too 8, like dial it back to 6. Like, that's where I feel I could contribute when you come to Denver.
But we'll definitely do some, because when I get touchdown, I'm gonna chase with everybody. I'm gonna give it with MLH and K Dot, and I'm sure DMA and whoever else I get up there.
Right.
Good
before I start calling you N-bombs on the stream, I want everybody to remind you that, or remind the viewers that this man, as long as my room is empty at the time, he better not pay for a hotel in Denver if he comes to Denver. I will be offended. Sir.
Listen, I will take you over to my buddy's crib in Denver too. Some young motherfuckers.
Yeah, if you got a predetermined free room, take that.
No.
If you got nothing, hit me up.
No, listen, I got a bunch of friends in Denver, and we should spend the night over at some of their cribs as well. You'll fucking have a blast. You should come out to where I stay. It's in Colorado and in Denver.
I should, because I don't have any friends in Denver, and I keep it that way. Like, all my friends, it only took an accident where I required surgery. And I'll admit, I'm an older guy that is in a city he didn't grow up in. Anyone would be hard-pressed to find quality friends, even after you're a certain age. But luckily, I'm not concerned with it.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true, man.
Yeah, man, it's like Chris Rock says. At our age, you're lucky if you got 3 actual friends, and you wouldn't have more than that.
I'm an old fuck. I travel a lot, and everywhere I go, man, I buy a hotel for a night, and I could be there for weeks. And the people just let me in and bounce around, and I consider them all friends, man. I got 2 blowouts. Motherfucker came 3 hours away from like San Francisco or San Diego or something, and picked me up, spent the night at her crib. She's trans, used to be in the community, and brought me back, took me to the garage, all of that bullshit. Great friend. We still talk. She called me the other day. She was having trouble with her relationship with a chick. Fuck, I'm an old fuck. I find friends easily.
Well, we just misuse. We just don't use the way people say, I don't know if you mean God the way I mean God. Same with friends, same with love. Like, I hear you saying friends, and I believe you are fine with that use. But when I say friends, that is a very high restrictive, like, there's a bar to me using that.
Listen, here's that. Check this out. Since you brought God into it, and this is what Dennison and you'll probably, I don't know, Dennison will certainly disagree with me. Maybe. I think that we are all connected. We are all one. I literally think you are my brother as my brother. Literally, I think you're the same mercy and forgiveness I owe him, I owe you. Same way I can't throw him away. I owe you the same fucking considerations.
And that's why I preach about the individual's responsibility. It all comes down to that. Everything comes down to that.
I would agree with that shit. It also comes down to that forgiving, mercy, love, do no harm shit too.
As sure as a Nazi helping a German boy get through a barbed wire fence, and that was the last picture of that Nazi that would ever be taken.
You understand that these are the arguments that you use to when we're up here discussing the thing. I will say the Nazis were bad, and you will say no, that's not true, because this one Nazi helped this boy through there. And do you understand how crazy that makes you sound?
Nazis were bad. The Nazis were bad, Joe.
I wasn't asking if the Nazis were bad. I was talking about individual.
I wasn't saying the Nazis are good. I wasn't saying the Nazis are good, and I'm not dancing.
I wasn't talking about whether they're good or bad. I meant that the argument that a thing is occurring, you will give an incident. Like, I'll be like, I hate to use Nazis again. Slavery sucks, and you'll be like, not true, because I read a book one day that said one guy enjoyed being a slave, so you must be wrong, Joe. These are the fucking argument. Use one example like it's a real argument.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that's why I'm right, and it doesn't make you wrong. I'm saying I support the smallest minority in the world, the individual. And the majority of the population is part of the smallest minority in existence. Do you get that analogy? Do you get that mind bender, Joe? The entire population of the planet.
It has anything to do with what I was talking about, though. I'll go down your rabbit hole, but let's not pretend that this is based off of what I said somehow. You've gone somewhere else.
It doesn't matter. What I'm about to tell you, Joe, solves almost every debate of social whatever in the world.
Go ahead.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. Every person in the world, the entire population of this globe, for the disc people, the entire population of this globe is all representative of the world's smallest minority, the individual. The individual. And whether I'm in small mustache Germany or Mexico, whatever era, me as an individual and my desires of existence are not required entirely on me, but the last line of all responsibility still falls on me. Like, you can say, let's get rid of all the bangs, as long as you acknowledge, well, you as the last line of your own personal defense are giving up that option if that's your stance. And then with everything, we can reference a degree of just that. Because some would say we as brothers were created and put here specifically for it to all be chaos and not work, so we can show who we are in relation to that chaos.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't able to follow that. What I was able to, the parts I did understand, I think I disagreed with.
Good. Get back to me about it.
It was a lot.
I'm probably, that's probably not likely to happen. Yeah, it's Denizen X. I have a backup channel too called Denizen X Live, just because they like to shut me down a lot on YouTube. So
I'm starting a channel specifically to get shut down. I feel you on that. No, the reason it might have confused you is because there's an essence of like,
because you meant it too. Because you meant it too.
Huh?
The reason it confused him, if it did, is because you meant it too. You were being as elusive as possible. You're not really trying to explain a thing. You're going about it the wrong way.
No, what I was gonna say, Joe, is he might be confused because he is like the I Like Turtles kid, where we've spent this past time gearing his mindset toward racism and racial issues.
No,
and I
he
just
is not a victim
I just hit
like
you all
that.
with something generalized and yet applies to everyone.
No, he's at least as smart as you are, Tommy. He's not like some goofy that would miss something that obvious.
No, Joe. See, you're saying I'm insulting his intelligence. Whenever
I
Daniel's
thought you were.
Yeah,
you think I'm insulting him? You think I'm racist? This is what we're getting at.
I don't think it was really insulting. I just think that it comes. I know. I just think that it was. Are you angry now? Is it you that's mad?
No. But
I just think it's the perspective that when you are unable to communicate effectively, that it's not related to your ability to articulate yourself, but merely the fault of the person being unable to understand.
Right.
And I tend to lean towards the opposite, especially because I hear myself, and I know I'm inarticulate as F.
Now hold on. What Joe knows me by with the group we roll around with him on
this will have nothing to do with what you just said, by the way, Dennison. Whatever's coming out, have nothing to do with what you just said.
See, this is why I don't feel any guilt when you guys were giving me shit about interrupting you and talking over, because now you're doubling up on me, and I don't care. I'll take you both because we're not competing. Now listen. Listen very carefully, because I don't care about racism, and I'm trying to give everybody that stone foundation.
I don't want you to feel guilty. I
interrupted by Mr. Mightier than me.
No, don't get angry now, right?
I'm not angry now?
Remember when you did that?
I'm laughing that.
See, you're not laughing. You're screaming, and I'm proving.
Well, I do scream for effect. So I'm never offended. There is an effect to this game we're playing. No, we're fine, dude. Listen to me.
I know we're fine.
You don't think we're fine?
I said I know
we're fine.
Oh, okay. Then stop guilting me with this fucking personal emotion shit,
I'm not guilting
dude.
you.
We are putting
I don't want you to feel guilty, Tommy. I want you to shut up sometimes when I'm talking.
I assure you, I don't feel guilty.
It's got nothing to do with guilt.
Okay, can you stop this smoke screen of nonsense and let me finish my point?
It's not a smoke screen to me, Tommy. To me, it's
I know, because you're satisfied.
I'm trying to make the point that I would like to make.
Okay, it's not an insult when I'm telling you to shut the fuck up for a second. Is that not an insult? That's not a smoke screen. That's not... Okay, now let me finish.
No.
Can I finish, Senator?
We'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm even going to drop the Turtles kid because you guys took us way too far on this one, because I think that's emotional. What I'm giving you is the foundation to take virtually any social issue of race, alphabet, whatever, over just what, like even your wife or your husband. Like, let's get down to Elon Musk core principles of morality. Like, that's what I'm saying.
We have another guest coming in.
Okay, nice. I'm going to drop it. Too much truth for one day.
This fucking guy.
Yes, this fucking guy. Good morning.
I did not gender or assign. Just let it be known, I did not gender assign upon entry. Let's go.
Are you okay?
Are you, Guy? Are you okay, Guy? I grew up in a time we would have called you she, but no hate.
I call her Dutchie.
Kinda. Yeah.
Sometimes I call her some other things too, but
Bitch.
Oh, C-bomb? Do you drop C-bombs on her?
No.
I dropped C-bombs on the host of this show.
She's not one.
I'll be the judge of that. I'm fine. How are you?
Illuminati Tommy, whatever the fuck your name is.
Close. What do you got for us? Welcome.
No, I'm just asking. I'm asking you a question. Are you not listening?
Okay. Have you been watching?
No, because you bore me, kinda.
No. I mean, even before we were doing this ridiculous debate, have you been watching most of the stream?
No, I was actually watching the channel owner on a different podcast at the moment. But
she's still live over there.
Yeah, she's still
going on watching it.
That's it. Go on for a long.
How do you think she's doing, Dutchie?
Yeah.
I mean, like there are some things that is typical Lauren, but I think she's doing okay.
Yeah, me too. I think she's doing good.
Yeah.
Hey, she's gonna be our actual watching it correspondent, and let's interview her. Like, because I've been watching with the volume down while I'm talking to you guys, just looking for like physical cues that something's up. Have these girls been like taking her on issues, or what's the overall event you've watched?
You should watch it for yourself so you can make your own decision.
You guys gonna have to give me a short version, do some highlight show or something, Henry.
Right, that's what I'm asking her. I'm not gonna hold you to this morally, but when I asked Henry if it was okay to sidetrack from it, he was okay. So I admit I haven't been hearing a lot of it out, just watching it visually and reading the chat and stuff.
Yeah, I've been dipping back into your conversation every now and again, but I've basically been watching the podcast to see how Lauren's doing.
I think that's what
so
you
with
should
you
be
and
doing,
this
Henry.
new attendant to the panel, what's both of your personal opinions that we can't hold against you? Let's hear it. I'm done defending this racial thing. We can move on.
Oh, I was just coming up for the racial thing.
Oh, I can't deny you that. Let's do it some more then.
How about I'll give Joe Cool a 30-second countdown of how Lauren's doing, and then you guys can crack on with the debate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. So Lauren is seated right next to the two male co-hosts.
I saw that part. Yeah.
And it's
I
given
got the
her
volume down. I'm not blind.
And
sorry?
I said I got the volume down. I'm not blind. Of course she is.
Sure. So it's given her an interesting dynamic because I think she's kind of playing into the kind of co-host to try and coax the girls to speak more.
Yeah.
How
are they accepting her? Because if you do something ditzy, they'll jump on you. How are they accepting her? Because when I watched, she was doing good. She explained how just graduated and took the bar, blah blah blah, and she's not dressed like a skank, which is a good thing on that fucking show.
Yeah.
So I thought when I left her, she was looking good.
I've seen some very positive comments. I've seen some typical scathing comments.
Okay, probably from the haters from our fucking environment mostly.
Oh, that's for sure.
It is a YouTube aspect. Like, you can be Mother Teresa, you're still going to catch YouTube haters.
I think you're right, bro. And the bigger you are, the more you get.
I said to Lauren that I think we'll gain about 50 subs from her being on a show with 4 million subs.
Right.
So far, I'm dead on.
Nice.
That's crazy. I would have put some hundreds at least.
I would have said 50 subs and 15 cucks. But we haven't counted the cuck count yet.
Yeah. So
okay.
Anyway,
I mean, Lauren's got haters, and then she's got cucks who will submit to her.
Tommy, since you're the expert on cucks, can you maybe just check if there are cucks in the new subscription people?
Well, the only reason I'm the expert on cucks is because those who can do and those who can't teach, and I'm an expert on teaching about cucks.
Yeah, whatever floats your goat. I don't care.
I just turned your stuff against you, but it's a typical male-female.
No.
Now, if I was a cuck, I would have said, you're right, and then I would have told you the number.
No.
Well, then what is a cuck? Oh, I guess I'm thinking beta orbiters. There's a range of, white knights, beta orbiters, cucks, cuckolds. Joe loves cuckolds because he's usually the black man in a cuckold. But you don't want to be in.
Yeah, I think that's something sexual. I don't even know what it is.
It is. It's when a white couple requires a black man to do the wife in front of the white man.
Well, I'm down as long as it's 2 white chicks. I'm okay with that.
No. The white man needs you to fuck his wife while he watches.
You dirty dog.
That's it.
This is all Pornhub information that anybody knows,
I frequent Pornhub. I hadn't seen that particular part.
Yes, sir. Let me tell you a little secret. This whole trend of incest porn, it's just the title. They're still just actors that aren't related. They just changed the title to say they're related. That's all incest porn is. Maybe the dialogue changes a little bit.
I'm thinking everybody on that motherfucker look like they old as fuck. I've never tuned in and been like, maybe every motherfucker's in that motherfucker's thoroughly over age, I thought. Most of these
So
motherfuckers.
What were you saying, Henry, about while she's sitting next to the host? What did you say she was trying to kind of coaxing them to what?
I mean, I think she's feeling a bit some of the co-host vibe. She's certainly more comfortable and commanding of the room than the other girls who are very much like sheepish and timid.
Very good.
There's one moment during the whole thing so far which is worth anyone watching, and it's when Lauren speaks to the host and takes him to task about the rating of women rating themselves versus men rating themselves, and he doesn't know how to respond and he fumbles for like a couple of minutes. So she kind of trips him and catches him completely off guard. It's quite interesting to watch.
I would love to know, because to me, what is her point? She's saying, because the women, at least me, the way I think, all of them, I'm a 10. So what is she taking him to task about? I guess I'm asking.
So he was saying that they went around the room to assess each other what they thought they were out of 10.
Oh, wait. Themselves, or they had to
themselves.
But with themselves.
Okay, I can do that. Yeah. That's all right. The other shit was bad, but yes, themselves. I don't see a problem with that.
And he was the host was saying, "Why are you all underrating yourselves? You have like girls there that are clearly like Melania Trump level." I
saw him. It was some gorgeous chicks, especially one on the far right. Yeah,
and that's Lauren, what we said before you got here, Joe. She wins.
Lauren took him to task because she said, "Well, why did you rate yourself so low when he's clearly quite an attractive guy?"
Very good.
And he didn't really respond very well to it.
It's that's unusual for that show, though. Usually the females rate themselves very highly. And then when they're kind of, they usually start with 10. And then if they're given kind of some kind of pushback on 10, then they're like, okay, maybe I'm not absolute perfection, so I'm a 9 or an 8.
That's true, though.
So to hear some reasonable estimates is encouraging. And I suppose maybe that's why he challenged it, because he was like, wait a minute. I do this with hundreds of girls and they all rate themselves 10. So what's going on here?
Yeah. And I gotta say, there was only 2 of them that I thought was skanky to semi-skanky. Most of them look like, regular chicks. Normally chicks on there, everybody's belly's out, had one tit, as much skin as possible. That wasn't the case with this group of women.
Oh, Joe, you're giving me a chance to contradict my statistics or bullshit thing. Because I'm going to tell you a statistic that applies to
I told you it was going to come back to bite you, motherfucker. I didn't have to.
No, but I'll still stand by statistics or crap. But I want to tell you one that was interesting to me without validating if it's true or not.
All right,
when women were polled, they said 86% of women said, like, I forget how they displayed this percentage, but basically it said the women polled are saying that men aren't attractive enough. That contradicts the percentages they came out to say no one's acceptable. They're like, that just means you're not accepting of what men are. Like they're saying that men are uglier than we have the capacity to please them, the way those statistics worked out in the poll.
Holy hell. Holy fuck.
I wasn't able to follow that.
I know. I wish I remembered where this poll happened, but it's like, let me think for a minute and reword that to try and say what happened. Because why get it exactly right when the logic of how it resulted is, it's not relevant to getting the numbers exactly right. I'm trying to think of how to say what happened in this poll. It kind of goes along with the reason so many dudes aren't getting any these days is the internet allows the majority of women to get in touch with the top 3% of men that they actually want to fuck. And that means, yeah. And it's the same, and the internet's screwing both sexes. Like the way
helping me out.
Well, the way that simps can just go to Pornhub, rub one out, and move on with life. Kind of me. Women can go to a chat room and get all the emotional support they need from simps and not worry about one guy to live with them and do that. And it's
I'm not necessarily sure that's a bad thing, though.
It's bad for the foundation of this country that was the nuclear family, because now we're not getting married, we're not having kids. And
for sure. I think it's time to move on from that, though.
Hey, Tommy, here's a setup question.
Enjoy what's happening when we go cashless and tyrannical, because America is, in essence, done.
Here's a setup
question, that's
going
to happen anyway. Sorry, go ahead.
No, Tommy, here's a setup question. I'm being a dick asking you, but do you agree with Trump that we need to make America great again?
Yes, but I don't agree. I don't agree. Trump is trying to do that. I think he's still a tool of what's happening. But I agree we need to make America great again. Compared to if you were circa conscious of 80s and earlier, with the exception of some standoff between races, it was fucking great, Joe Cool. Okay. When I was a child, I have a conscious memory of my mom taking me to the pharmacy where you could get a milkshake a la Andy Griffith style. I still lived through the tail end of that.
All right. With the make a great again in the 80s, with most Trumpians, anybody who believes that philosophy, do you think that they're talking about the 80s or a different era when they say generally speaking?
I think they're talking about a time that is portrayed as a joke when a cop could pull you over and said, "Hey, buddy, I smell alcohol on your breath. I think you're drinking. You drive straight the fuck home. Do you hear me?"
So you mean
that's
like the
when
50s.
America was great.
So like the 50s.
I don't know. I wasn't in the 50s.
Oh, I don't know. I watched TV. I wasn't there either. I don't remember.
It's hard for you to peg an era when you're not sure what answer you want to demand from me, isn't it?
No, you shouldn't be trying to fucking figure out what I want. You should be honest and stand on your beliefs.
Right. If you'd let me answer under those and not call it dancing and not wanting to answer the question, I'd be happy to do that.
I'm a bit of a troll. I'll probably continue to fucking give you shit when you dance.
Well, that's why I don't have to worry about racism, because you're showing me it's not really
It's not my fault whether you worry about racism. You can't guilt me into no shit like that. I'm not a 6-year-old.
It's not my fault if a cop does stuff that I'm not responsible for his actions. You know what I should do, Joe Cool? I think I should put channels on my video that instruct minorities the easiest route to be the safest when you're pulled over, and show them how much I cuck the police when I have their attention and their commands coming at me. Okay. I'm a badass, Joe. I don't take no shit in the ghettos of Denver, but if that badge is on my shit, I cuck real fast.
Well, I was going to ask you that. If police tell you you're a passenger in a vehicle and ask you for your ID, you give it to them?
That's different than when I'm being shouted orders at gunpoint when I have no, I don't have a monopoly on force. So what was the answer to my question
before you go too far?
No, if I'm the passenger, no, I'll deny it.
You don't give ID. If police tell you you're filming, you're 30 feet away from a traffic stop, police tell you, and I know this is hypothetical, hey, I don't mind you filming, but you got to back up another 30 feet.
It's not that it's hypothetical.
Do you comply?
you're keeping it too limited compared to how I'm trying to give you a
sorry you
broad
don't
solution.
like that it's not in your parameters.
It's
Play
not
my
about
game for a
like, it's
little
about
while.
if you want, I want to help you understand, and you're
No,
not
you
helping
want to
me
help
help
me
you.
what you think I need to understand, and you're wrong
And you
every
want to help
time.
me answer what you think I need to answer. We can
No,
do
Yeah,
this
you're
all
both
night,
doing
Joe.
the same thing to each other, except he's willing to listen to you do your thing, and you won't
No,
let him do
he's
his
not
thing.
willing to listen.
Hey,
'cause this
I'm
is
just
our
letting you
100th
know what
time
it
doing this.
looks like and sounds like from my perspective, Tommy.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah,
I
think
know. And that's why in the earlier part of the show, we made it very clear, people, me and Joe have this talk all the time. We know each other. I just told the man he's got a room in Denver. So you don't need to white knight for him as
I'm not white knighting for him. I'm just trying to get you to shut the fuck up and let him ask a question, you dumb bastard. Don't call me a white knight.
I let him answer questions. Have you
No,
not
because
picked
you're
up
still
on this? He
talking.
will only accept the answer.
Now
he
you're
wants.
now
Have you
you're
not
arguing
picked up
about
on this?
me. Now you're
I'm
arguing about me.
your shit take
Why
on
don't
what
you
you've been
answer his
watching.
question? Why
because
don't you
he
just
knows
answer his
what's going
question?
on. He knows
Why don't you tell
that I
him
have
not to call my answer dancing?
He knows that I have a point of logic that I'm trying to create. This one question will
Right.
lead to 5 more, and he don't know where it goes.
Right.
So he's uncomfortable, and thinks he needs to
Right.
guess. I just need
And
to
he's
be
gonna
careful
call
getting
me
there.
names.
No.
And he's gonna call me names because I pointed it out.
No. Well, he just called me a nigga.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
he's saying I'm uncomfortable. What I'm doing is trying to sum up what he wants to know. This is why my earlier issue.
You're
before
trying.
the show-
Listen, he used the word uncomfortable. What I would say is that you
No,
deliberately
he
tried
used
to
the word
avoid letting him
uncomfortable.
get his point across. He used the word uncomfortable. Yes.
He told
What
me
I would
I'm
say is.
uncomfortable. I'm not.
What I would say is, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and turn my sound down because you keep making me yell by screaming over me every time I start moving
You
my
are
mouth.
the individual
Okay?
responsible for
All right,
if
so
you
here's
yell
where
or
we go.
not. Don't
I'm
put
just
that
gonna
on
go.
me. Don't tell me I make black people
I am
yell just because
responsible.
I'm
So
white.
I'm responsible. So I turned my volume down so that I won't have to do it anymore. That's how I'm responsible. So he used the word uncomfortable. That may or may not be accurate. I would say there's kind of a 50-50 chance now, given the tone of this conversation so far and how you've chosen to participate in it. But that wouldn't be my point, right? I would say regardless of whether or not you feel uncomfortable about it, what's clear is that you were denying his opportunity to make his point the same way you use rhetorical language in order to make your point, the same way we all do when we're trying to have an intellectual conversation.
Right.
So you could stop screaming over him and agree to engage with him in his logic so I can hear him unravel his thoughts the same way that I would like to hear you unravel your thoughts.
His logic is not to make his point.
Okay.
His logic is to make me. Excuse me, ma'am.
No.
There's men talking
I want to
here.
hear Joe.
Excuse me.
I've been listening to you for 15 minutes. I want to hear Joe. Shut up. Joe.
But he's asking me a question.
No.
Yes, let's see if you can answer it this time.
Yeah.
Instead of dodging it and then making it about how I'm a white knight.
No, we don't want to hear you. We want to hear Joe. So
I'll give it to you
want to hear me
direct.
answer, but you
no,
don't want to hear me.
the question. Let me say the question. So when the majority of the Trumpers, MAGA people talk about "Make America Great Again," what year do you think the majority envisions?
That's not what you're asking me.
You fucking prick.
Because what the fuck does the year matter? What you're saying.
His response was to tell you what you were asking. That's awesome.
The point you want me to make for you is
yes, tell him his point now. This is what I want.
Whistling to get rid of the N-word.
Yes,
that's
he's
what he
delusional.
Wants me to
yes.
I was going to the N-word.
Necromancer?
He does. What's funny is I already know the point Joe's gonna make because Joe and I have these conversations, right?
Exactly.
But I let him talk. You're wrong. You don't know the point he's gonna make because you're too busy making assumptions instead of having a conversation.
And they're horrible
the problem with you is
yes, your assumptions are also ignorant and incorrect.
Mr.
Yes,
Smart guy,
correct. Because my volume's turned down. So now because you can't go back and forth, you don't know how to. This is how I'm going to deal with you. I'm going to do it without screaming and getting upset like you, simply by turning my sound down.
Deal with me. You have to deal with me. That's the way.
I didn't hear the first half of that because I was talking the whole time.
May I point something out to you?
I heard tyrannical prick though coming from you. It seems, amusing.
Sure. Can I tell you something else amusing?
You could do whatever you want. I don't care though. I want to hear Joe's point.
Goddamn right I can, and you can too. Now listen. You and Joe are
we'll
personal
see.
people.
I may or may not. I just got a
Never mind. I
DM.
guess I can't.
Let's see
I
which
guess
one
you are
gets
a
more of
tyrant.
my
I guess
attention.
I can't say it. I guess I can't say it. You're a tyrant.
Yeah, I could
Joe,
went straight.
how high are you?
Very, very. I was having a lot of difficulty hanging in with these conversations just a
But
little
we're
while
not
ago.
so high to let some female come in and muck this up. Now
he's going to make it about her being a woman. She's the
Oh,
one who
okay.
mucked it up,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
him.
It's
not him.
vagina is
He
causing a
refuses
lot
to
of
have a
just
conversation,
dated,
and it's the female's fault.
I just
You're
dated you
remarkable.
like
This
that.
is remarkable. It's remarkable watching you
It is
unravel right now in
remarkable.
front
I
of
just
hundreds
baited
of
you. Let
people.
me finish. That's what I did. I just
Yeah, you're baiting me.
vagina.
That's what's happening here. You're baiting me, sir. That's definitely what's happening here.
Then
What?
he's scared
female.
of a vagina. That's
Respectable
pretty
female.
cuck-like.
Respectable female. I'm not scared of a vagina. I have nothing against women. I just wanted this dude to
But
say
you
that.
do have the capacity.
Yes, you wanted me to
change
say
this
it.
whole thing into me mucking up the chat or mucking up the panel.
I just told you that was a falsity that I just used, and now
Okay,
I'm
then shut the fuck up. Maybe you need to think
I'm
before
telling
it
you that
actually
is
leaves
not
your
my
mouth.
view. I'm telling you not to take it seriously.
Maybe
and
you
now
need
you're
to
gonna...
think before you speak.
No, I did
Yes.
think. That's why I said it, to make that dude respond the way he did, and now I'm retracting what I said
That
to you.
dude?
You think you can cope with that?
That
Yeah,
dude?
so let me address that dude again, ma'am, and then we'll give you the floor.
I
He's
still
the
would like
dude,
to hear
okay?
you rap with Joe Cool.
Yeah, he was
Just
and
gonna
Joe
go on
Cool
record with that one for you to answer his question and hear the conversation. I'm still waiting for
Joe
that.
Cool's
Can I
question, 'cause
just
I've
say
answered it before.
you missed
I'm
you
trying to tell
misrepresented
you
it.
something.
You didn't answer
Hey.
it. You dodged it.
Tommy,
'cause
I
you're
know.
afraid
I'm
of
not
me.
going to answer it.
Tommy, listen to the vagina.
You
Hey,
can call it.
That's fucking
he's
disgusting.
not
because
the dude.
I listen
He's
to
not
vaginas
that
all the
dude.
time.
He's
I got
the
the kind of
dude.
Yeah, that's right,
proportions
I'm
that
the
make
dude.
vaginas talk. So spare me that.
Whatever. You're
Listen,
speaking, man.
dude, that is beefing with me, in essence.
Got
You
no
and
beef with
Joe.
sir.
God damn it. Okay, I'll just not talk. Go ahead.
Are you
Black
angry?
is bad,
Yes.
black
Joe.
boys right, whatever.
Hey, Joe, you want to try your question again and see if you can answer it this time?
Yeah, try it, Joe. Try it.
Yeah, I'll try it again. In general, those MAGA, those Trump and MAGA people, when they say we want America to take it back to a year, in general, what era do you think they were talking about?
I don't care. Now, to your white
I'll
friend
give you
here,
a benefit.
you say that you and Joe Cool,
Are you sure I'm
say
white,
that
buddy?
you and Joe Cool have these conversations personally all the time, just like me and Joe Cool have these conversations personally all the time. So my problem is you're the only one out of me and you that acknowledge we don't know each other. I'm not sitting here telling you who you are and what you are in relation to these conversations. You're trying to capitalize on it.
You just did.
White
No, I
knight.
didn't. No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
White
Okay,
guy.
whatever.
White
whatever.
knight.
Yeah, you
White
told me
guy.
exactly why I interrupted you, and I explained
No, White
it to
Knight
you.
was the cuck
I
thing.
articulated it reasonably.
When I white knighted you, it was because you're sitting here defending Joe Cool what he doesn't need defended against. So
I
once
didn't defend
again,
him at all.
Like
I didn't defend Joe Cool.
before. Oh, I already see it. I know you're doing the thing where now we're just going to get petty. So let's restance.
No, I don't feel like I'm being petty at all, sir. I think you are being a little petty, though.
Facts don't care about either of our feelings.
The facts are that you refuse to answer his question, and the facts are also that I would like to. No, that's a fact. And the fact is also that I would like to hear you answer his question and see where the conversation goes, rather than be interrogated by you right now. And also, and I gotta tell you, like, normally I see Joe and I, we have a mutual respect for one another, right? So I have a hard time seeing things in a lens of race with Joe, right? Because of our relationship. But I gotta tell you, I'm feeling it in my gut right now because ultimately I know racism is real, even though Joe and I disagree on these topics, right? But I feel it in my gut right now. It's an interesting dynamic to see how you seem to be so focused on everything I say, but you have so little regard for what he says. Where does that come from, sir?
I'm focused on what everybody's saying. The only difference, like you, I've already heard a lot of what Joe has to say. He's heard what I have to say.
Yes, he's dancing around.
That's a reasonable explanation.
And when
that's a reasonable explanation. I believe you.
I'm not done. You let me start.
No, I was agreeing with the first half of what you said already. You can continue to talk.
The advantage to having these repetitive debates over and over again is I can look for a new thing to hit us with that we don't just have to loop the same debate over and over again.
So you were wrong when you assumed where he was going with that. I can tell you from experience.
I don't make assumptions.
Yeah.
No, you can tell that I knew where he was going with that because
no, you were wrong.
all the time.
Not based upon what you stated. What you said out loud was incorrect. So unless you were deliberately trying to mislead us, I don't know why, you were wrong about what he was going to say.
What you said out loud was
incorrect. I didn't say what he was going to say. So what the fuck are you talking about?
So
I said, well,
ma'am, that's okay. Please, you can agree with some, you can disagree with some things I'm saying. What I'm telling you is that you made an objective statement about where he was going with his argument, and it was incorrect. You were wrong.
And you made a false statement that it was a fact I would refuse to answer his question, making you wrong.
Sure. I don't agree with you on that, but that's okay. Let's go back to you.
The difference between a fact and opinion, because if I answer his question, that makes you wrong. That it was a fact.
But it's not an opinion, though.
Joe, on that level, dude.
Joe, is he correct about where you were going with your line of questioning?
Man who's correct.
Now he's delusional about what his own thoughts are.
Where did you think I was
You're
going?
losing it, Tommy.
Tell you directly,
I'm not losing it. I'm the only one that has it.
What do you think I was going?
There is a difference. There is a difference in opinions and facts, and all day long, I only find people that don't know what that is.
Yapping Chihuahua, can you shut up for a second?
You're one of them, Tommy.
Not for you, lady.
Yeah. Where do you think I was going, Tommy? Then I will tell you directly without the questions where I was going.
I made no claim to say where you were going. I said it was an irrelevant question to ask what year we think America was
you made
created.
A claim earlier.
What you want to know is what is so great about what they want to go back to. That's what you're trying to ask me. I don't know what year defines when those things were.
Closer.
But I know what the
That's closer
is.
than what you said before.
Yeah,
you're getting closer, but still not quite on there.
What you're choosing to contribute, dude.
You don't need to hear anybody else in the conversation, Tommy. That's been made clear.
No,
you're here to talk to yourself.
You're trying to make that clear.
Are you enjoying
You're trying to make that clear because you got confused off me generalizing an individual's responsibility, and now you say,
redirect your hate boner for a second.
I can't hear you because she's talking.
I know.
And that's why I told females
redirect your hate boner for a second. Are you enjoying yourself? Is this fun for you?
He is not.
To just be a fucking troll right now? Can you shut the fuck up for 5 minutes so that Joe can actually say what the fuck he wants to say without you interrupting?
Well, it would require his participation, though. He would have to actually answer the question and have it back and forth, and he's not interested in that.
You guys are abandoning all the things you agreed to earlier, and it's funny to me, so I am enjoying myself.
I don't recall agreeing to a goddamn.
Right, well, you said go back and watch it again. You're forgetting we were on a much different level before you guys started playing petty debate games. I'm sitting here
that's not
wanting views. I don't want anybody telling me my view. I have yet to tell you guys your view, but I am pointing out. I am pointing out the fallacies in your debate strategy.
No, you're pointing out your own paranoid delusions right now, Tommy, and you're doing it in public. And I don't, it's making
grammar.
If you want, it's making me uncomfortable.
You're uncomfortable?
Right, to use Joe's term, the fact that you are doing this to yourself in front of other people is making me uncomfortable right now.
You're uncomfortable right now?
Slightly, yes, sir.
That, as we've learned from the woke, that is entirely on the individual. If you're uncomfortable, you should either find out in yourself why you.
I'm not.
Or you could be a considerate human.
I know exactly why I'm uncomfortable right now, and it's because of my empathy for a stranger. And that stranger is you.
Discomfort? What can I do about your discomfort?
I could give you some things to do. I'm not sure that you'd be willing to do them. Don't worry. I'm not blaming you for my discomfort, sir. I am comfortable. I am comfortable with my discomfort. I am merely feeling for a fellow human being right now. If you would like to actually answer the question as to what you could do, you could stop this. You could stop screaming over people, being belligerent, accusing a stranger, telling a stranger exactly what they're thinking.
I'd like you to stop
telling Joe exactly
said what my problem is.
Telling Joe exactly what he was going to ask you instead of just hearing it.
Yeah, and filibustering when I asked you a question that you could answer in 2 seconds.
All you guys have done.
You were screaming over me that entire time, dude. The whole time I was talking, the only way I can even talk
Are you gonna be okay?
is to turn you down. I'm gonna be fine. Yes, I'll be fine.
Why are you bitching?
The only No, it's not bitching. It's describing your behavior. I'm just describing your behavior. You asked what the problem was, Tommy. I'm explaining it to you.
You are oblivious to, in your bitching, you're describing what you're doing.
It's not bitching. That's just deliberately emasculating language you use because of your feminist brainwashing.
But me, then
I'm not
why
bitching.
Are you being a bitch?
Because you're the problem, Tommy. You're the bitch right now. That's why we're talking about you.
Say. And I want to say, yes,
and you're right.
He's
right, Tommy.
Their responsibility.
He's right. Yeah, so take some responsibility for why you're experiencing this right now.
I'm not experiencing anything I have a problem with except talking to you about this dumb shit.
We know that you don't have a problem with your behavior. Go ahead, Dutchie. Sorry.
No, Tommy, see, you changed it up. Now it's my behavior.
Tommy.
It's been your behavior.
I have a question. Why are you so dismissive of Joe? Are you racist?
Because of his behavior.
No, you're not letting him talk. So you're very dismissive
what
of him.
His problem with racism?
Are you racist?
No, that dude that I
can you let him talk then?
You're not letting me talk.
Yeah, he's
that dude that I just baited twice. That dude that I just
baited twice.
That dude that you asked me a question and I'm answering it.
No,
I
basically just told you to shut the fuck up because you're being racist.
I'm telling you to shut the fuck up.
To Joe.
Yeah, fuck Joe Fool. Is that what you want to hear? He's my friend. Fuck Joe Fool. There, we done? You guys can't decide what question it is. I won't answer. Luckily, I live in the ghetto and
somewhere. I was intentionally trying to take Tommy somewhere uncomfortable for him. So I was being a troll. I was going to say that whenever America was great, it could use some change. And, because I figured he was going to. You can't hold that Make America Great Again argument. It just doesn't hold.
Make America Great Again. I've never voted a day in my life. I don't claim a party. I think we should make America great again because it's not great right now. Because we are being reduced
when was America ever
for a
great?
one world government situation that is beyond our political problems.
I think he said a slight time in the 80s when Reagan was president. I don't think
he could get a milkshake.
Yeah, get a milkshake.
No, I cited the 80s as if you were conscious of life and politics in the 80s or earlier, you know what they're talking about.
People are thinking about the 80s. You're avoiding the obvious. You know the majority are talking about a time
I'm
further
avoiding
back than
you
that.
answering my answer wrong.
How can someone answer an answer wrong? What the fuck
because
are you
I gave an
about?
Answer and then he's recontexting it.
Desperate.
I said, no, I'm not desperate. I'm desperate trying to find out how to get you to understand.
Your point of view, you dumbass.
What have you provided except being a third person for me to take on, Toots? If you're equal,
a third person for you to take on, you're losing at the moment. You're spurting.
If women are equal, it's not about us allowing you into this debate.
I mean, honestly,
I
think that is the correct answer to the question. That is what she brought, is another layer of your inability to have a conversation with people.
You're a fucking
based upon whatever they identify. As a matter of fact, when it comes to identity politics, you're worse than Joe.
I don't believe in identity politics. And
you apparently do. It's all you did. I'm white. She's a vagina.
Well, tell me my
You know what I mean? Jesus Christ, dude. It was the first thing that came out of your mouth.
One more time.
And now you're calling her toots?
You're a dick.
Well, yeah, that was
you're making me question. See, this is what's funny. I think people overblow this like racism stuff, the identity politics stuff way too much. And you're making me look like an idiot because that's all you can fucking talk about.
No, that's the layers. I am also consciously overblowing
peel the layers
now
on your own. Go peel the onion in the corner.
Tell me what I'm not capable of, and then let me say
listening.
Something.
You're not capable of listening.
An intelligent conversation about it.
Yes, that's what you're capable of.
Thank you, Joe. Now, what did you say when you entered this panel? What did you say to me?
Me?
No. What did your friend Joe? What did he say to me when he came into this panel?
I'm too high for that.
That dude.
He said, "I think you've really got this whole what was it? The thing they teach in class, critical race." He goes, "I think you've done a good job of pretty much narrowing down the critical racism thing. And if it was the issue I brought up, you would have said I was fine and articulate in my debate." The only reason
not fine and articulate.
Well, you're saying
I still
that
agree
now,
with that previous assessment.
You're saying that now in this moment where the same way Joe Cool says he's high and I say I have the endurance to go all night. I don't have the endurance to debate all night in the context of people just coming at me.
Oh, please run out of steam then. run out of steam right now, please.
Yeah, and you bear
I think
some
that's what we're witnessing. That's
responsibility.
what he's saying. He said this is him when he's out of steam. He loses his ability to control his temper and not scream over people randomly about shit that's irrelevant.
I am saying I'm human like you guys.
You need to say a little bit less and just breathe.
And if you guys and you're both...
Don't finish that sentence. Just shut up and breathe. Okay?
That's the worst thing the only female can say.
Hold up. Shut up.
That's the best thing you can do right now.
No, because I just sat here. I was taking my turn. I was taking responsibility for my actions.
She is deliberately interrupting you and being rude, correct?
You're
because
not
you've been doing it for close to an hour now.
That's
why. And the best thing that you could do, your responsibility right now, human to human, Tommy, would be to take several deep breaths, then pause and take several more deep breaths, and then see if you want to rejoin the conversation.
And
that
I got
contradicts
a question for
my
you,
whole
Tommy.
stance.
I got a question for you, Tommy, and I'm being a dick.
We don't have time. You can't ask the question before I was...
Israeli thing. Who's wrong over there?
He's wrong over there.
You guys are laughing.
Okay.
You guys are laughing.
We don't want you to leave, Tommy. We won't want you to have a discussion.
If there's an opening for someone to put his foot in his mouth,
two conditions.
You will do
I'll leave if I decide to leave, or if Henry decides to boot me.
Don't go anywhere.
But that's what I'm saying, dude. You don't have to tell me that because it's irrelevant.
But you say a lot, and there's nothing of substance coming out of your fucking mouth. So shut the fuck up for a second.
Substance and value is relative to the listener and
my God, are you drunk?
Those
I'm
Israelis
sober
are really
as fuck.
giving those Palestinians a hard time, aren't they, Tommy?
Yeah, and you want to go to some far-off conversation that doesn't let me respond to you three degenerates in this
We
moment.
could have your conversation, too. I want a back and forth.
Yeah.
So if you want to change the subject entirely after Joe makes his point, I'm perfectly fine with that.
I'm just trying to make you look dumb anyway. You can change the subject. I'm just
okay. So Tommy, that sounds like a you problem, Tommy. And the audience right now, if you're interested in having a discussion and not just screaming back and forth,
yeah, because you're an inconsiderate
we're that audience, bro. It's the three of us. So even if we're all wrong, you need to adjust your argumentation to involve us in this conversation. Otherwise, you're on a panel here by yourself.
Thank you.
We hear more from,
the idea of racism is up to each race to individually, responsibly determine, hey, maybe I'm not bothered so much if everyone just said nigger all day long. And I just be over it, and now I'm not putting it on them. I've taken responsibility. The anger is gone. And then we don't have racism because we're not dwelling on who started what, who was the historical tyrant, how far back you want to push blame. Do you want to go far back enough to say we bought black people from black people? We can go back that far because it's irrelevant as white people being the tyrant.
I agree with that.
All we are is now, and what we're going to do different.
I agree with that. I'd like to hear Joe now.
On your side right now. I think the only reason it's relevant is because we need to study it to see what ramifications, if we can agree that there are some now, that would help us discern what they are right now. We damn near have to discuss it.
Oh yeah, no, I have no problem with us researching it and discussing it, but the accusations that are flying around and the attitude, that's the problem, right?
Stay on that road.
So it part. Yeah. So like I'm guilty because I'm white and I owe somebody something because I'm white. That needs to be left out of the conversation, right?
And hopefully that is nowhere in the critical race theory, hopefully. And I've looked into it.
That's the basic tenet of critical race theory.
No,
thank you.
Wait. I'm glad you can't saying this because, I totally disagree with this.
Because your sources of information are telling you that it's made up by right-wing media when I've read the material myself, and it is the foundation of it.
Well, the professors, I read it as well. Tell me some of what critical race theory is. The parts that say white people should be guilty or whatever. However you were phrasing it.
Go ahead.
Because you did hit him with the first one. That's true. Because you're white, this, and it also stemmed off to a lot of these public talks where you've seen a black person say, "Hey, if you're white and you're down with the cause, give your black friends money right now." And I disagree with that as well.
Critical race theory, though.
that is associated with the crowd that was pushing critical race theory. It's part of it. I wouldn't be surprised if the same books implied some kind of gifting or doing things just because race. It's not because, I think, like, do you know what I call a person that's black and does things for me for free? You think I'm going to say slave, I'm going to say friend. Oh, I got you on that one.
I'm wondering what
that was part of the stand-up, Joe. That was part of my racial stand-up I talk about.
I'm sorry. I'm one of those analytical dudes. I'm still waiting for it to tie in.
I think I can get more institutional with my response, right? So, one of the basic tenets of critical race theory is that it is inherently racist and white supremacy, not any other kind of supremacy or racism in general, white supremacy, that laws do not discriminate on the basis of race. That because of the historical injustices, looking at the law or a system of government without taking race into consideration is inherently racist, and all racism is white supremacy. So built right into the foundation of critical race theory is, first of all, white people are really the only ones who could be racist because everything's referred to as white supremacy. But more to the point is my philosophy of not systemizing race, which is what I consider to be racism, is what is described as inherently racist by critical race theory. It deliberately seeks to take race into consideration when legislating and forming government.
All right, that's
correct. Now, a thing that's crazy about this talk, because remember earlier when we said we agree there's not really a thing that is race.
To debate some of this shit and I can barely remember.
Hold on. What were you saying, Tommy?
Go ahead, Tommy.
Well, earlier we had said that we all agree that there isn't really such thing as a race, but for talking about it, we will say that so we all understand what we're talking about.
Right.
And then and like Joe's saying, when we go on, it's hard to like remember and keep track. Even whenever he was laying out the critical race theory, I could see where people would like be like, is he still defining what they're teaching, or is he saying a thing? And it's the same way we're this far into a racial debate and we're maybe not necessarily remembering that we agree there is no race, but we're still using the terminology that will confuse us.
You may be worried about the crowd being confused. I am not confused, and I don't think I'm jumping to any conclusions with you, Kat.
No, I'm not worried about the crowd being confused. I'm more saying a bigger conversation that's had in philosophies about how hard it is to share what we experience with a language that's too limited to express what we experience.
It's not language that's too limited. It's niggas that's cowards.
It's diplomatic.
Motherfuckers
like
don't want to catch like you don't want to fucking talk about race and you want to admit it. If fucking at least Dennison is fucking being genuine. But the reason they can't go on is because, in fact, Dennison, I'll throw him in this shit. He was one-sided with that critical race shit. He's telling me more about what he thinks is doing as opposed to what is teaching.
No,
no, he's telling you what it's.
That's
teaching.
from the curriculum. I almost quoted
he's right.
it. I paraphrased the curriculum itself.
He is.
If I tell you what I think it's doing, I can get way worse than that, man.
No. I'd like, because I agreed with the second part of it was racist. Give me the first part again.
So what I would say is critical. I'll give you an opinion, and then what I think is still an opinion, but it's an objective summary. So the objective summary is not using race as a way to legislate and create government is racist. So we should do the opposite, which is use race in law and government, which to me, in my opinion, that's racist.
I agree,
and then,
but I didn't read that. We'd have to bring up some the actual writing. I thought they were saying that you must consider race when you consider these things as politics.
Yes, that's
and I would
saying,
agree with that. You
right.
would be irresponsible.
And I would say that perpetuates racism.
It's easy to say that when
so now we see, Joe, that when we all get on the same page, you and your friend disagree about this.
Me and my friend
we always
all
have
the fucking time.
Right. Me and Joe, we disagree as well. But that's kind of what I was saying. Is you were saying the paraphrase of what's being taught, and we had to verify, like, because midway through.
I get that a lot. Yeah. Like most people who support and defend critical race theory don't know what it is, while they're constantly telling the people who criticize it that they don't know what it is. See.
Yeah.
You kind of agree with me, right?
You might have to pull it up because.
So I can read from Wikipedia.
Yeah. Okay, that'll do for now.
And while he's finding it, his generalized point is to say that race is this kind of issue politically keeps that racial idea and opposition going.
Of course, it does.
Because the government is saying we must say white people do this and black people this. Yes. That's why it's never going to end. And I'd say, in my tinfoil hat side, that's the plan.
Yeah, I think white people have been trying to pretend race away since the inception of this country. It ain't worked yet.
Here it is. This is the line that I think is fair and accurate and that I use when people tell me I don't know what critical race theory is. Right, CRT scholars argue that the social and legal construction of race advances the interests of white people at the expense of people of color. And that the liberal notion of U.S. law as neutral plays a significant role in maintaining a racially unjust social order, where formerly colorblind laws continue to have racially discriminatory outcomes.
That's clear. I'd agree with everything that was just said.
I wouldn't. Because the laws definitely, listen, I'm going to tell you as a matter of fact, Joe, okay? As a matter of fact, and I could be wrong, but as a matter of fact, the fact that the legal system, let me use the exact quote.
You broke up. I can't hear you.
When you guys see a pause that you can hold the point on, I need to ask Henry.
The fact that the legal construction in the United States advances the interests of white people at the expense of people of color is objectively unfucking true to my experience as someone with milky skin. Objectively fucking untrue. My government constantly tells me to go get fucked because I'm white and I'm male.
I don't think it means that white people don't get fucked too. That's not what it's saying.
No, I'm saying that because of the law. The law is such that they tell me if I ask for assistance, if I ask for education, if I try to start a company, if I go to get a job, they say, are you sure you're not black at all? Are you sure you're not Native American? Because if you were just a little bit Hispanic, there's something we could do for you. Oh, you're white? You got no kids? Oh, sorry. Can't help you.
Listen, I would agree with those things. Reminded me of a point. I would agree with all of those things. I'm aware those are the worst fucking laws, period. It sucks. And I can acknowledge that the law is generated in a way that sucks for white people. There are ways that it sucks for mothers. There are ways
so I want to read it again. Before you get too far, I want to read that to you again. Yeah. Okay, and I keep losing it. That the social and legal construction of race advances the interests of white people at the expense of people of color.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So listen, Joe, this is
we fundamentally disagree because real quick, Tommy, I'll let you go. Yeah. What I would say is the reason why CRT is fucking bullshit is because it's very, very obvious to me that the social and legal construction of race advances the interests of people of color at the expense of white people. And there's no such thing as white people. I'm really getting tired of being called white.
Yeah, we know that. It's for the purposes of conversing here.
But they want to be black.
There's no such thing as white folks.
Right. So let me add to what he's saying about that government program thing. They would look at us from the government office for grants or loans or whatever. Be like, wait, you're white. Like they expect us to just all be Trumps with loans from our fathers. But the thing is, they're in relation to what he's saying. Somebody made a statement in that area where it's like, if you mark, and not to say you're lying, but if you can mark on a grant or anything the government does to send you to school or start a business, if you remotely put that you're like a pregnant black woman, you will be approved. And yet all I hear is no opportunity in the time the most opportunity for non-whites is going on. And I don't see nobody taking advantage of it. Everybody wants to stay on the hustle and be SoundCloud street cred.
I love that you guys can see how the law adversely affects white people. You've stated it clearly. But my
I'm saying that black people aren't taking advantage of how it benefits them. I
don't want to have to pull a Denison to finish a thought. But I do also believe that, I find it hard to believe that you can't see where the law would hurt black motherfuckers and benefit white motherfuckers more. For instance, if you're a white person and you get caught with a drug and your drug of choice is cocaine, you're going to get less time. They're going to give more time to black motherfucker. That law was constructed that way. The entire war on drugs was constructed to go against hippies and black motherfuckers. Go ahead.
Go ahead,
if that's true, that is done racist, deliberately racist, then what it shows is that white people have to create these intricate ways in order to discriminate against people of color. Whereas when it's the other way around, they just flat out tell you, if you have color, you're privileged, and if you're white, you're guilty, and you owe everybody everything.
Well, yes.
And let me take my turn now, because he missed what I was going to say.
Civil rights laws is because statistics and reality showed that white motherfuckers would not hire black people. And we know there is no real.
That never used to be a problem, though.
May I? I don't want to get away from what we're responding to, and I'm going to lose it too.
I thought I was taking me out.
It's not there isn't really a specificity to saying white guy with coke this sentence, black guy with coke this sentence.
Right.
This is what I'm talking about when I train with these videos. Black people are predominantly going to have crack or deal crack. They give the bigger sentence to crack, maybe if it is racism, because white people will more often have coke and not crack.
And so that's how it benefits white people.
So listen, Joe, because we're going to go back to earlier, Joe. I've been sitting here, Joe, buddy, I've been sitting here pulling teeth trying to tell you to show me the damages and victims of this racism thing, and you're telling me, no, I'm not saying it's really holding people back. I'm not saying it's a problem.
I can tell you the damages. I tell you every time. I just told you one. People, black motherfuckers, are being damaged by being pulled over.
And all I tell those black people is, hey, have coke on you instead of crack.
But you tell them, but don't say that I haven't come up with a way that the people are being damaged. That's bullshit.
But you told me earlier in this panel that whenever I was telling you I don't care about mean words and semantics, it's because you said you're not saying there's victims or damages.
No, go back, rewind that shit. It's always been clear to me that there are victims among this. In fact, I was giving you instances where my girlfriend went into the fucking place to prove it. When was I saying there were no damages or victims?
Whenever I asked for them, when I said I'm not worried about mean words, because we all have mean words. I was telling you about how Ben Carson is successful.
Yeah, well, we know now that I don't believe that way. I believe there are damages and victims.
Okay, so why aren't you showing me proof that black people are taking the most benefit of these programs to take them to school or start businesses?
Because that's the only way to prove my point is by
technically that would be white women.
In this small area, I can convince you. Then that is the only way to prove it. I could pull up stats, more stats that would prove it about how black motherfuckers with equal backgrounds get more time. I can pull up fucking studies that show that one of them, you cats aren't gonna like this source. It was CNN, I think.
I don't like you looping in the statistics.
They said that a white person with a felony had the same chances of getting a job as a black motherfucker, and a black motherfucker with a felony had a statistical zero chance if he didn't know anybody. And they did the study that if you have a black name, you're less likely to get a fucking job if you call up there and your name is Ahmed or something like that.
So what's affirmative action?
My problem with the way you frame the statistics is because you use the word prove. Because we could have a conversation about why the statistics are real and what causes them. But it would require a multivariate analysis, and the multivariate analysis. Yes, and race is not the largest contributing factor.
I didn't say it is. I can't get you cast to say it even exists.
Right.
No,
I think it
spent this whole-
exists.
All right.
And I've always said, rewind it, Joe. I keep saying it exists. It's when I say, show me victimhood or damage, because racism exists.
Showing you. Shut the hell up. I've showed you 1,000 times.
Listen.
Stop it.
No, you haven't proven it.
Black folks are not doing as well as white folks in this country, and white folks are doing worse and worse and worse. So we're about to find ourselves both in a boat that's taking on water if we don't fucking do some shit about this.
I love it. It's already totally too late. Agree. COVID got us closer that way. In my opinion,
Henry knows there's a
word.
In my opinion,
but that proves it's economic and social. You know what I'm saying, Joe? Like
number one factor, economics.
And the idea to keep us all fired up over racism is how they're doing these policies under the radar.
CRT is evil, Joe. Happen. CRT is evil, Joe.
Going cashless is evil, Joe.
Under
it's tyrannical.
Theory of what Tommy just said, it can do harm. Yeah, the same way Black Lives Matter. To me, it did a world of good, but it certainly did harm. Just that fucking name gave everybody an opportunity to jump up and be like, white man's married too. Like they don't know what the fuck you talking about.
A good point about like the black name thing
but they're right.
that I would like to make before we get too far away from it is a black person with the name John Adams wouldn't experience that problem, right? And so we could have a larger question. We could have a larger conversation about the bias that people have towards certain names that they might refer to as ghetto.
Wait. I understand.
And then associate that with some complications as to like whether or not they think black people are lazy or that they're difficult to work with.
Let me ask this guy.
Before you leave, hold on, because my name sounds like a white name, and I used to put out job applications all the time. And when I get there, they would outright say, "Well, oh, you don't look like that's your name," and I perceive that as They
I hate hearing this shit because it's your word against ours, man. I was a hiring and firing manager for better jobs than you might have ever had. And I don't do that.
That's a good point. Actually, I've hired people, and race was never a consideration.
Really, because the one job I had was in Bloomingdale's department store, and the white people got cashiers, got salary plus commission, and the black people got straight salary. We went around because I didn't believe it. And we asked every one of them. Every white motherfucker got salary and benefits, and every black motherfucker got straight salary. She said, "I'm going to the fucking HR. I'm going to talk about it." And she got her ass got fired for bringing it up.
I've never. I mean, this is the same way with the women's pay. It's like, dude, if you're doing the job in America, it's not like that. They have because. Whether you're a female or a minority, if you're not getting the same pay for the same job, there's people you can go to.
I think we can unify this, Tommy. I think we can pull this together, okay?
But can I ask you a question?
Sure. Just give me 40 seconds.
Just remember, I want to ask you a question.
Sure. So the thing is I think because black folks are used to getting less, and what's actually happening here is an exploitation of labor. And the corporations don't give two shits about what your skin color is.
I agree.
Right? So what happens is because black folks are used to getting fucked over, they don't expect as much as white people. So when white people are like, I want this, and if you don't give it to them, they're like, okay, peace out. I'm gonna go to the next place where I can be white and ask for the same shit over there. Same things when it comes to women. Women are generally overall more agreeable. Plus they haven't been in the work. We've been in the workplace. We invented the workplace as men. Black and white men together. We invented this slave shit. So, but women, they're new to it. They used to just stay home, raise children, and create society. Now they got to go out there and be slaves too. So they tend to take less as well. So when you take all these things into consideration, these are where these pressures go. And that's why we can't be completely ignorant to it, which is Joe's point. But we cannot get trapped into thinking that I owe somebody something or somebody's dumber or stupider or less responsible or dumber than me because of their skin color, like Tommy says.
Yes. Well, we agree because I agree on every damn thing you said. And if Tommy says
I was with him until he said like Tommy said.
I thought that was what you think, man. That you think we shouldn't get hung up on this skin color shit.
So, well, yeah, but one aspect of that goes across the board is when white people are like, pay me this or I'll just go here. That's more an aspect of, do you know your value and are you standing up for the value you bring in that proficiency.
Yeah.
And we should address why black folks don't feel valuable, why they point at the black doll and say that's bad. We should address that shit.
Right.
No, we should address why this whole debate has people screaming at their TV who realize we aren't even touching damn, I just said the word earlier now, you know, the one the thing where you're black, you must get hired. Affirmative action. You guys are totally contradicting affirmative action in this debate where it's like, oh, is it hard for a black person to get a job? Because I've been in jobs where people think you only got the job because you're black because of affirmative action.
Every white motherfucker think every black motherfucker got their job through affirmative action.
And the only reason they can think that is because there's affirmative action and you don't have to prove your value.
Yeah.
The only reason
it perpetuates racism.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Here's the thing, Joe. Here's I'm gonna like put a point on this. Where you're thinking right now, right? Mm-hmm. So. If we had the attitude back then not to be so racist, and we were like, look at all these children of color who are falling behind in X, Y, Z and way, right?
Cockroaches.
And then we address those X, Y, and Z issues instead of saying, oh, black kids now get special treatment and all white kids go get fucked, right? Yeah. If we had done that, then you know, we'd be addressing the social inequities that have happened as a result of slavery.
Yes, I thought literally that's what CRT was meant to do.
No,
CRT is meant
saying
to perpetuate what
affirmative action is CRT. That's the handshake right there. It's like you must take race and take it into consideration, and it has to be about race. Otherwise, you're deliberately being racist.
Your point there, that it will, because people are dumb. It will turn about race. There's 100% chance of that shit. As opposed to the science that you were just talking about, take into consideration why and so, which I would like to see. It will turn into white people are evil. Look at what they did and what they're doing.
It's there. Do you know there's cases on active self-protection where people have been harmed or murdered in their houses, like in California, because they hesitated over their assailant being a race. The same way cops don't hesitate as much to shoot a white guy because all the hype of shooting black guys. There are just common folk who would defend themselves.
That's just karma. You niggas had it coming, man. They've been shooting black motherfuckers for years. You never spoke up.
No.
Karma.
They've been shooting motherfuckers for years, not just black motherfuckers.
No. You know, I understand that both were being shot. I can even give you the numbers yearly of how many were being shot. So I hope you didn't think that was my point.
Let me tell you a thing. Whenever you say, listen, let me defend myself from earlier because he reminded me.
Understand my point. Black motherfuckers been getting shot at a higher fucking percentage. White people locked up with white juries letting
because
them
there's a higher
forever.
Percentage of black motherfuckers that will challenge the police that we agree does a certain level of job that they don't even want to agree to. Like I stop, I get,
and there's a reason for that resentment, right?
Yeah, right.
But what you reminded me of when you were talking about black youth, and to acknowledge that I'm well aware of racism, whenever Joe Biden talked about cockroaches, there's only two people in this country that perked up and went, hello. That was me and Judge Joe Brown. Because me and Judge Joe Brown are the only ones that knew that in the times of racism, you referred to black kids as cockroaches.
Yeah, you were the only two people in America. You were two brilliant fucks, you and Joe Brown. You could have kept
I'm just making a joke whenever I thought I was the only... Hold on, let me explain myself. I thought I was the only person that recognized it. I was looking to my left and right, in essence, with my hands up going, hello, racism accusers. It's right there. Yeah, after all the years of Trump racism, no one called him out for cockroaches.
I don't know. I see a million
and when Judge Joe Brown, I'm sorry, can I finish my turn? I thought I was the problem. All I'm saying is when I saw Judge Joe Brown stand up and point that out, I said, my nigga, like he gets it. I didn't think anyone else got it. Judge Joe Brown knew the whole time, and he gave a weight off my shoulders.
I've been seeing clips about. Sir. I'm sorry. I've been seeing clips about that dude saying racist shit forever.
Who? Judge
Biden.
Joe Brown?
No, Biden.
Oh, okay.
That wouldn't have been.
Oh yeah, Biden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised as blackface pictures pop up of that dude.
Yeah. He's pretty bad.
I say racist shit too. but it ain't.
Nigga, you are racist.
No, I'm not racist, Joe.
You set me up for that one. I couldn't help it, bro.
No, I'm not racist. I'll say racist stuff. I'm not
real quick, Joe. Are you racist?
No, far from it. No.
I think you might be because you keep projecting that.
I love it. But I could give you evidence that you're racist.
Yeah, sure. Let's have it. You've already given me evidence of what I mean and what I'm saying.
And would that one race is superior to another one definition of race, or the systemization?
That one.
Okay.
No.
See, that's what I challenge. I agree that racism is the superiority of race, and when you say I'm that, I wonder why you don't get along with RBR better, because I'm not.
I think that Tommy is of those that think that it's the same everywhere. And
individual responsibility is the same everywhere.
Train of thought that fucking fast. I was trying to say his racist thought. Yes, that he doesn't even have to look into those problems of black people because they're not that important. I think he's got that I'm better than motherfuckers appeal to him. Appeal is a bad word.
I get where people say I come off like I think I'm better than them. And it's because I think we all can be, but some of us aren't. I think the only reason I have an air of feeling better than some people I interact with is because I'm doing the damn thing. Hey, Joe, cool. If I wasn't white, Joe, would it be more significance that I went from homeless meth to market 100,000-aire? I got to be careful with millionaire because me and Joe's mutual friends hold millionaire over my head like I claimed it, and I only said I was rich. But the whole point is I went from nobody cares about that meth user on the street. Now I'm balling, and nobody helped me, and I didn't get ahead because of my race.
I'm sure that was a great story.
I'm just thinking you accused him of being arrogant, though, not of being racist.
Well, he accused me of being racist. I'm acknowledging.
Joe just accused Tommy of being arrogant, not of being racist.
Right,
no, he did both.
Let me see. People, no, I hear what Dennis is saying. I got to rethink this.
But you did say, Tommy, I think you're racist.
I know what I said.
Yeah, but his explanation, the evidence was that you're arrogant. Yeah, not of
well,
racism.
Okay, and then the arrogance was that's why you think no. The arrogance is why you think it's over my whiteness. Because you were saying I act arrogant and you think it's because it's race. It's not because of race.
I don't agree that he just thinks he's better than all people. He thinks he's better than black people in particular.
Right.
Me?
So that you have not.
Do you not see how I talk
out?
to Paul?
All right. Okay. All right. Here we go. Here's another evidence why I'll give up Tommy being a racist. Because motherfuckers non-racists ain't scared to talk about that racist shit liberally freely. He is afraid every time you go near that shit, some motherfuckers hop up and be like, why y'all gotta talk about racism? I point that out.
That might be true, but I think some of that might have to do with the fact that if you try to have intellectual conversations about this, you can get very defensive. Right.
Well, I got more. So that's just one. That doesn't.
You try to avoid people dragging you into certain areas.
Let me respond to each as he gives them.
There's more.
I know, but wait, you just said one. Don't go on until I respond. Because you are specifically referring to me. Now we're not talking history or society. But I'm clarifying that so I don't make it about me. We are talking about me, right?
Yeah.
Like these points you're giving are about why you think I'm racist. I'm just clarifying.
So for me, though, it's a little bit like, unfortunately, you're the target. But I want to hear Joe flush out because he makes this accusation a lot. He said the same exact thing he's saying to you. He has said to me. So So for me, it's a little bit larger. Unfortunately, you're the one taking the arrows right now, right?
No, we are the same. Like I said, you're a friend of his that you have these debates. I am too, and now we're comparing notes. And hopefully to help our friend. So Joe.
Well, yes, but even larger than that, I'm also listening to him intently in case I might learn something.
I was too. Listen, guys, we moved on. I get what you were saying about me. I should have been the female in the sense of just going, all the shit you guys said, I should have just went, okay. But I am human. I pushed back. Fine. We've moved on. And the female realized she was bringing no value and she peaced out. That's great. Now, Joe, as far...
Did you respond? That was the response to what I said?
No, now I'm responding to you.
Right.
In this idea, okay, first off, just no, not me. But in the idea that racists are going to hide or hesitate, that's where I disagree. Because as a guy from West Virginia, I know that when the Klan was active and prevalent, they're the first ones that are going to get on the courthouse steps. They're going to take the microphone from the reporter, do their show with that.
Media was not out when the Klan was out. This is not a good argument, man.
No, white supremacy. No, listen, the reason it's white supremacy is because you don't have to hide it, Joe. You're talking over me. The reason it's white, why would white supremacy have to hide in the shadows? It's supremacy. You do it. That's why over in the Ukraine, that guy went and joined him and said, I'm here to help you beat the Russian Nazis. And the Ukrainians said, no, bro, we're the Nazis.
I wasn't calling
your news won't tell you that.
Saying that you dance around anything fucking racial issues.
Also, I'm not even going to entertain this. You called me a coward that dances, and I'm hitting you head on with this race stuff, Joe. Don't.
You're talking about nonsense. Stop it.
Guys, just a heads
Unbelievable, Joe. I'm trying to fucking not rip into you over this stuff.
Tommy.
The act. Do you really think someone sitting on the internet taking this on is a coward?